You're listening to Metrotham Uncensored with host Justin Hodgkins. Listen to him ask hard-hitting questions while nerding out with his weekly guest. Metrotham Uncensored starts now.
Welcome, nerdy people, to episode 5 of the Metrotham Uncensored. I'm your host, Justin Hodgkins. Today I have with me a guest that I really don't know a lot, but every time I find out more about him, I'm just like, cool dude.
Man of mystery.
Man of mystery. That's what I like. So, yeah, please help me introduce Christopher Wilson.
Yep.
Yeah, Wilson. We had jokes about this. But, yeah. So yeah, Christopher, how long have you been like with Metrotham? Just like lean up a little bit, so we were in frame and everything like that.
Well, let's see. I went to the episode 1 as a guest last year.
Were you cosplaying anything in year 1? Yeah. I don't remember seeing you at year 1.
Yeah, I cosplayed every day. Let's see. It was a 3-day event then, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I cosplayed every day. I did my Nightwing, probably my Mr. Bean, my Chrono.
Wait, you were Mr. Bean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember you. I remember you now.
Everybody remembers Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean, your Nightwing's pretty sick too, not gonna lie.
Even Night Bean.
Night Bean? Oh, dude. That's the cosplay right there. That's the one that's gonna win the cosplay contest.
Yeah, you either liked it or it was terrifying, so...
Oh, dude, one of the two. I love it when like people do like the mesh of cosplays, especially...
Yeah.
That's a brilliant one.
Everyone keeps trying to get me to do Wolverine.
That'd be amazing.
That would be
like,
fun.
You need to do that. I'm going to be one of those people now.
Well, I've done Super Bean and Pirate Bean, so, just work my way down the list.
Down the word list. Bean needs to be more. Mr. Bean needs to be more in pop culture, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. And not many people do it, so anytime someone, like, everyone knows who he is, and not many people do it, so.
Yeah. Like, yeah, me and you... We really haven't had many one-on-ones. I don't think we've ever had one at all, really.
I can probably thank COVID for that.
Yeah, because we've been like, we had all these plans to do stuff, and I believe I was going to go to a con that you were at. You were going to be like my help at the table at one point, but Corona hit and just put a stick in everything.
Yep.
It's weird because, like, especially, like, right now, there's, like, no one you can, like, go to be like, hey, this is normal, right? And everybody's like, no, not at all. Like, I kind of remember the AIDS pandemic being a little similar, but not really. Like, I guess to start off the conversation, how old are you? Like, I knew that all about all my guests.
How old do I look?
I'm going to say...
I always counter it with that question.
I'm 28. I know you're older than me. I'm going to say maybe 32, 33.
I will be 36 in January.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Like, I just knew you were older than me. Yeah. Like, if I like just seen you on the street, I'd probably think like 29, 28 maybe.
That's
probably
good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, that guy's my age.
I like that. That helps me out with my current endeavors, so.
Yeah, for sure. Good genes. Like, people tell me I look younger too all the time. Like, I like to tell people, because this was a real thing that happened to me when I first turned 21. From like 21 until 25, twice a month I would get kicked out of bars because they thought my ID was fake. Like, funny. It happened more than several occasions where, like, they're like, get out of here, you scamper, don't you have school tomorrow? It's like, I haven't been in school in 4 years.
But yeah, I went to the first Metrotham as a guest, and then I loved it so much, I wanted to be a part of it. And I knew you guys were trying to grow and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I had met Mark at that point, and Mark was forming relationships and bonds with Chatooine, which I've been a part of for about 5 years now. So that's kind of how I got to know everyone involved with Metrotham. And then, and of course, I knew Misty, of course, somehow shortly after that, and I became a staff member, so
I
wanted to be a part of it. I really liked what you guys did. I for it to be such a small con and startup, which I think you guys had great numbers that weekend, it was ran so well, and I loved everything about it, and y'all did so much with so little, and I loved that. And I've always wanted to be a part of a convention, but everything else around town and even out of town is already well established. And I was like, you guys are going to go somewhere and do good things. So
like, I don't know if you know this about me, but Metrotham was actually my first convention, and I worked it.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, I'm really good friends with Dustin and Brian. Yep. Like, and they were like pretty much like the first volunteers, pretty much like that. And they wrote me in the day before to help set up, and then I was Mark Eden's and Larry Houston's handler.
Nice.
Yeah. And I remember just like looking around, just like it was hot. People were sweating because, you know, we were in Camp Jordan.
Yep.
But everybody was just having a good time. Like, everybody was freaking out, looking at the cast from, like, you know, not the cast, some of the cast members and some of, like, the artists and writers behind the original 90s X-Men cartoon, which is what got a lot of people into X-Men. I don't know, like, did you watch much of the original 90s?
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, there's, see, I'm trying to remember what all the versions were. I know there was Wolverine in the X-Men, and then there was, another one. I'm trying to remember all the versions, but
X-Men Evolution.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I probably watched mostly that one.
Yeah,
I watched on Saturdays, of course. Saturday morning cartoons, back when that was still a thing.
Oh, dude, like,
that was what I did.
I was like right at the cup end of that, pretty much like all like the Saturday morning cartoons, and like Saturday morning cartoons, like, you know, like we grew up with it because that's where like all the animes would come on. Like all the new episodes of Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that on Toonami would come on Saturday, and stuff like that. And you had X-Men Evolution, you had the Pokemon series, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I actually watched a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! First season anyway. Later on,
Yu-Gi-Oh was good until they got to like the one where like Yama Yugi kind of became a bad guy because he played like the one pentagram card.
I don't remember
it was like it was like weird. Like it was like I was into Yu-Gi-Oh probably longer than I should have been. You know, I was one of those kids. You know, like virginity is cool. Pretty much.
I might have been too old for it too.
Yeah. Oh no, like I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh like in the 5th grade. I only went to one tournament because I literally got my ass kicked by a 36-year-old, and I'm just like,
See, I played Magic.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, middle school.
Yeah.
But that was about it, just for a few years. I wasn't really good at it, but I did get into it a little bit.
Dude, Magic is just so complicated. Like, Magic is the only card game where I've lost in 3 turns and just not known what happened to me.
I think it's easier than D&D. I cannot get the hang of D&D at all.
Like, we're starting a D&D campaign, and it's going to be my first, like, actual, like, I did, like, a couple, like, of hour sessions one time, but I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just doing what you know, the DM told me to do, pretty much.
Yeah.
Starting to having to remember terminology and stuff like that. But yeah, the first time that like I actually met you and your soon-to-be wife, congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you guys are very cute together, which is not the first time this has been said from Metrotham staff.
Oh, well, she makes me look good, so.
Good answer, man. Oof, I need to take some notes. But, you know, it was you, Brianna, and it was, I want to say it's 6 kids?
5.
5?
Yeah.
Oh.
I have 2 girls and she has 3, so we will now have 5.
Yeah, so, and it's all girls?
All girls.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So you're like dying on a hill in the household, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the cat's a boy, but he's a butthead, so not really.
They
doesn't help me out any.
Yeah. But I can only imagine that. Like, I was an only child, so, like, I don't have siblings. I never grew up, like, in a household with, like, I had a lot of friends and stuff like that. Like, Brian had 2 siblings. I had a friend who had, like, 4 siblings. So I got to see it and, like, casually observe. I felt like one of those wildlife documentary guys, pretty much, when I go to their house.
So I have a huge family on both my mom and dad's side. And I think my great-grandparents on my mom's side, I think they had like, I want to say 13, 14 kids, something like that, which most of them are gone now. But yeah, big family on both sides. And then, of course, I got 2 younger sisters, 1 older brother. So lots of cousins. Always big family reunions or family get-togethers.
Oh yeah, we're the weird family because my parents were the only ones who just had one, you know. So on both sides of the family, they would just like look at us like we were weird, and it's just like, you know. It's just like, because my mom came from big family, and my dad came kind of a weird family. My dad had three brothers, but two of them, they share like a almost 10-year age difference. Like his older brothers
are like gap.
Yeah. His other one, which is the one that like would take me to go to the movie theaters and stuff, he was like 4 years older than my dad, and my mom had 8 brothers and sisters. So, like, yeah, when they got together, they were just like, we just want one kid. We don't have the strength that our parents had to deal with all that. But you know, the thing going back to like when you guys helped me out, because that was like the first time like I was actually running a table, like people were coming up to me on what to do and stuff like that and everything like that, and you guys were such pros the entire time. I was just like, I really like these guys and I would really like to hang out more, but again, we said Corona happened, and everybody was afraid of hanging out and stuff like that.
It's changed the way of life for everything.
Yo, dude, it's gonna be
conventions, jobs, everything.
Like, yeah, I worked at Amazon from, like, pretty much, like, the start of, like, when lockdowns happened till about, like, a month ago. Dude, just, like, the entire environment in the world. Like, you know how many times, like, people would see me wearing my Amazon mask and I'd go into a gas station to get a pack of cigarettes or something, and they'd be like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I just got back from Iraq or something. And it's just like, dude, I'm not doing this because I want to. You know, I have a car payment and bills to pay and stuff like that.
Superhero now.
Yeah, just like superhero status. Just because I woke up and went to work hungover, just like every other day.
You're an Amazonian warrior, but not the same as Wonder Woman.
Dude. I can only tell you, if I could tell you how many times I got, like, especially like when lockdown was going on, how many emails that I got from Jeff Bezos' personal email telling me, you know, great, working hard and everything like that, while this son of a bitch is on a private yacht circling his private island. Oh, I'm just like, oh my god, it's just like, I hate the world pretty much. But yeah, that's been pretty much my mood for the past couple of months. And I don't know about you, but I've been staying away from TVs today, because today, when we're actually filming this, is first day after the election. And like, I don't get 24-hour newscasting at all, man.
Well, they're live streaming it on YouTube, but there's really no point right now, because it's probably, like I was saying earlier, more and more people will send in mailed-in ballots, I bet, than the previous year, so it might take them forever to count the votes anyway.
Dude, it's just crazy. It's crazy how, like, literally everything's changing.
Yeah.
And I just wish people would just, like, listen to the, like, doctors. That's all I want. You know, I'm not one side really or for the other. I voted for who I voted for. But, you know, just listen to the people in the field. You know, when you take your car when it's breaking down, you're not second questioning that mechanic who's trying to get your car working and everything like that again. And it's just like, these people know what they're taught. Well, they're trying to figure out more, and they're trying to keep the public safe. This isn't like a conspiracy to shut down the economy or whatever.
Yeah, but that's a bad analogy.
Yeah, it was.
Because you're talking about mechanics. I completely disagree with that. I always get a second opinion. You're right. I don't know everything, but I know enough to be like, I'm going to check with somebody else on that price.
I'm going to check with my buddy.
Like, I'm just kind of bringing it here because I either A, don't have the tools, or I'm too lazy to do it myself. Like, I'm pretty sure. I don't know about that.
All right, that was a bad analogy. Yeah. You know me, I believe the mechanic every time just because I'm bad with cars.
I mean, maybe doctors, but I don't know about the...
I don't know about the mechanics. The mechanics will try to bleed you. Yeah. All right, that was... Ooh, thanks for calling me out on that. That was bad.
Yeah, I mean...
But, yeah.
It just depends.
It depends. I need to come up with a better analogy, that's for sure. Oof, that's a big oof. Oof size was large on that one.
Oof size, yeah.
But, yeah, so, like, you know, how long have you, like, been doing the con scene and everything like that? Like, what kind of got you into that in the first place?
Believe it or not, acting.
Really? Yeah, because you're an actor.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do professionally, but right now it's just kind of on the side, and so which I just signed with my first acting agent a couple weeks ago. So
nice.
That's exciting. But I was on Facebook one day, and there was my friend Brian Parks had posted a casting call, and I guess he boosted the post that way it'd be like an ad or whatever. Back when Facebook first started doing that, I think in 2015, maybe 2014. I can't remember when it was posted, but I want to say 2015. I came across it just scrolling on Facebook. Somebody local movie was filming in Chattanooga, and I was like, well, that'd be cool to do, you know. I'd always thought about it, but never thought I could actually do it, you know, because, you know, self-confidence and stuff.
Oh, dude.
Which I'm a little better at that now, but still working on it. But I was like, sure, why not? And I actually applied for the role of Green Arrow. It was a superhero movie about the Teen Titans and Deathstroke. It was called Deathstroke, the Judas Contract, which is a comic book storyline.
You're talking about Judas Contract?
Yeah, it's a real There's actually a comic book storyline on that. So it's loosely based on that storyline. It's about Deathstroke getting contracts to systematically eliminate the Titans one by one or whatever. So I actually applied for Green Arrow just because that's the post I saw. I didn't know what else was available. And then it was either Brian or my friend Cassandra, which I'm friends with both of them now. They were both it was Brian's project, and Cassandra's helping him out, and they called me back and they were like, hey, we want you to be Nightwing. So my very first role in anything.
Do you voice Nightwing in Justice League Judas Contract?
Well, I play Nightwing. It's a live action. It's not animated. It's live action.
I'm thinking about an animated movie that came out.
Yeah, not that. No, that would be cool.
Okay.
I might have actually gotten paid for that. That would be awesome, but no. If I were well established, I would definitely apply for that because I wouldn't mind doing voiceover work, but that'll be.
Dude, I was about to be like, dude, they were just doing like random casting for that movie. That movie was.
No, I'm pretty sure you would have to have an agent at that point, but yeah, that one came out after we filmed ours, but ours was just like a fan film or whatever.
Yeah.
So sat down with them, talked about it, and they cast me as Nightwing. So that was the first acting gig I ever did, and we
Is there a way for people to see that?
It's still in post-production. So
post-production?
Yeah. Brian just had to pretty much, you know, do it as he went, use his own money and everything, and get his own gear and equipment and everything. So it's just been slow go, and you got to fund it yourself, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But filming was amazing on that. Like, one weekend we did a fight scene, and it took like the whole 3 days, and I was literally falling asleep while we were filming. It's right at the end of it. But I mean, I enjoyed every minute of it. It was so much fun, and that's what really got me into wanting to do the acting thing. And, well, long story short, to go back to the question you asked me, when I was doing that, all of the people involved most of the members were in Chattanooga, which is the cosplay group that I'm in. Yeah. And that's how I got into cosplay.
So cosplay and acting, because that was going to be my next question, like how long you been acting? But so you started acting before the cosplay scene.
Yeah.
And acting is what got you into like the cosplay.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
So one thing just led to the other, you know, and social connections. It's even now, even this year when I've been doing my acting thing and getting more and more gigs, you know, you meet directors, you meet producers, and you meet more and more people, and you get those connections. And I've already had people, instead of having to look for gigs that everyone else can look at, I've had people private message me and be like, hey, you want to do this role? Like, they're contacting me first, and that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Like that I don't have to go and search for it. They'll search me out. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I bet that's really helpful, especially like when you're like starting out, like when you get calls like that, you're just like, yes, something is finally developing into something.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen often, but it does make me feel good when they seek me out, and that's really cool. But yeah, I did the Judas Contract movie. It was so much fun to film, and then that was the only thing I did. After that, I went through some family issues after that I won't get into details with, and it stopped for a little while, but I was still cosplaying. I started getting into that a little bit and joined Chattanooga, and that was really fun because those group of people are just amazing, and they have been ever since. And then once I figured out my family stuff, last year I started getting back into acting professionally and seriously, I started doing background stuff, which you can just go on Facebook groups and find stuff, and they'll pay you like minimum wage, and you can be background actors in TV shows and films and all that. And I've done a bunch of stuff. You can see me a tiny bit, but not really. And then
at one point, like I was like thinking, like not that I'm trying to be a stand-up. Like I write stand-up comedy and stuff like that. It's been really hard because like, there are no stand-up places open, and if there are open, it's not necessarily an open mic.
Right now is not the easiest time to do that, I'm guessing.
Oh no, not at all. And that's like why I'm glad I have something like this and everything, because I get to test out material on people and be like, okay, well, this is one person as opposed to a crowd, but if I just get like so much as like a lip tremble, like when I say something, I'm like, that's going down. That's going down. And so yeah, like especially because I've done it once. I've actually done an open mic once in my entire life. It was about 2.5 years ago, and I was in Pensacola, Florida, because I just dropped my uncle off to like be like weird family situation was going on there. Yeah. But I was in Pensacola in a hotel room by myself, and when a tropical storm was hitting. Nice. Like you're from the area, right? Do you remember, like you're from like the Chattanooga, Ringgold area? Yeah, like pretty much. But you remember when the tornadoes hit Ringgold, like almost 10 years back?
Yeah. Man, it's been that long.
Almost. Yeah. I was a senior in high school, my dude. Like you've been to Ringgold, right?
Yeah. It took out the McDonald's pretty much. I'm trying to remember what all that took out.
I was in CVS when it hit.
Oh wow!
In Ringgold.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like I saw it coming in. I'm just like, well, this is how I die. Great.
Goodness.
Yeah, and so that didn't happen. CBS was one of the only buildings that weren't affected, but I have a problem around storms now. Because I saw an F5 tornado with my own eyes. Yeah. So like when it gets like windy and stuff, I start getting a little panicky, and so. Like, we knew that it might have hit by the time I got there, so people have heard this before about me and everything. Like, I occasionally will partake in the devil's lettuce and stuff like that. So I went outside to, smoke a J that I'd rolled for myself, and I'm just like, well, this isn't helping because now I'm just paranoid. And so, like, I went back in, and there was, like, a menu because, like, there was a bar attached to the hotel I was staying in. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm gonna get something to eat and I'm gonna get smashed drunk until I fall asleep. That's what I'm gonna do. And so I walk in, and it's like a packed room. I go to a little bar, and I order my first beer, my food comes, and they're like, oh, by the way, in about 10 minutes we're gonna start doing open mics.
There you go.
And stuff like that. And I was just like, that's where I need to take all this nervous energy and all this angry situation of all the points in my life where it caused me to be in Pensacola, Florida, while there was a tropical storm going on. So I got up there and I did 10 minutes of fuck Florida material.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I fucking killed the room. And I was just like, I really want to do this again. But then like you said, like, you're your own worst enemy when you try to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
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 Like self-doubt and stuff like that.
Yeah, I critique myself more than anyone I know, probably.
Yeah.
I really got to stop doing that, but it is hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always worried about the littlest thing if something's not perfect, and I just got to learn to go with the flow,
Yeah, sometimes things are not in your situation. You just got to go with, like, what the best you can do at the moment, pretty much.
Yeah. You gotta not let it get to you and just keep on going anyway.
So yeah, pretty much like I've made it to where like as soon as open mics start up here, I'm gonna start doing them because I have promised people like either do it or shut up. Pretty much is some of the things I've gotten because I don't know how far acting goes back for you, but as far as being like a fan of like stand up and everything like that, that's gone back to like pretty much I watched my first Bill Burr special my 8th grade year in middle school. And from then on out, I've been wanting to watch I was wanting to watch every stand-up comedian I can and just like really go into it. Like, why is this person funny and why is this person not funny? Stuff like that. It's definitely a craft and everything, just like with acting that you have to learn. And sometimes people aren't fortunate enough to have the best tools but you just like mold yourself, which is kind of sounding like what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing now is just getting footage. You know, you can't really get a lot of that doing extra work. Extra work will pay a little bit to get you by and to keep you in the industry and you know, have some money roll in. And it gives you experience, like being on set. You get to see behind the scenes stuff. What, you know, even when you're waiting to do your part, there's a ton of waiting around. Yeah. You get paid for it. Like I could sit somewhere for 12 hours a day sitting in a chair and only be on camera for maybe like 5 minutes the whole day. Most of the time you're just waiting around. You know, you have your costumes. Like I've done some military roles on Black Lightning or whatever. I'll be an ASA commando. We'll get all of our gear, put it on, and surprisingly they don't really do much makeup when you're doing the extra stuff. Every now and again they will, but you have all your stuff and you just be waiting around for that scene. When the director needs you, they'll contact they got their walkies, they get the PA will grab you, be like, okay, your turn, go out there in a few minutes, and then that's it. And then you wait around again until they've wrapped completely and made sure they don't need you, and then you go home. But so yeah, most of the time you're just waiting around. I mean, it's easy pay, but I'm at that stage right now where the gigs I'm doing are like short films.
Yeah.
And they don't pay anything. But I'm getting that footage, you know, I want that good footage.
You're getting exposure, and that's kind of like what your payment is like right now, right?
Yeah. And other than COVID, which has kind of messed things up, short films don't have to strictly abide by the COVID rules right now, like the big productions, because they weren't doing anything for a while. If you're making a short film, you know, you don't have to, if it's not SAG or whatever, you don't have to worry about the rules as much. SAG. Screen Actors Guild. Oh, okay. Like a lot of the projects, so you because I'm not a SAG actor yet. You know, eventually that's my goal. Once you do that, though, you can't do extra work anymore. Like non-union, you got non-union, which is what I am right now. Once you become a SAG actor, you can get higher paying jobs. But the short films, you know, all of them, they've been filming all summer. You just got to know how to find them, and that exposure is what you need. And cameras are so much better. I mean, you can film stuff with your iPhone now. It's better quality than cameras 10 years ago, which is nuts.
The camera quality on the iPhone, when people complain about like how they're not really that good at cameras, I'm just like, dude, that's a better camera than what filmed the Titanic.
As long as it's not at night. Yeah. But then apparently the new iPhone 12, it shoots better at night now.
Yeah, but I'm going away from my phone after this one, man. It's just like, dude, you're not giving me a charging pack or headphones, and it's still like $1,000.
Yeah, they're always so expensive.
I'm just like, bro, like you're not giving me anything, and I'm still paying the same amount as the last one.
People want that. I do get a camera on there now. That's what they want it for. That's what they've been advertising it for anyway.
Yeah. I mean, people just get iPhones because they like iPhones.
Yeah. I mean, I've had one for a while, so I'm just used to it. So, but I won't get another one until this one just like completely craps out. And then I don't have to get the newest one every single year it comes out. I would be broke if I did that. But
those people, the people that do that are weird. To me, it's just like trend following, but
they've got the money. Then
they got the money. It's just like, but the people that like, you know, always. I just laugh every time when this stuff comes out, and like I just see the lines out the door, like the pre-wait and stuff. Like people are waiting for like the next Call of Duty. Like you remember like back in the day when like midnight releases for video games would happen.
Yeah.
The craziest one of those I went to was like Modern Warfare 2. Like
they actually line outside of GameStop.
They actually had like grill trucks out there from like local restaurants, and they were like grilling up tacos and stuff for everybody.
Well, that's a good thing,
a DJ.
Man. That's good.
3 fights broke out.
Only 3.
High schoolers getting in arguments about their KD rates and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness!
I'm just like, oof. But yeah, those days were fun. But when I see people like also lining out sneaker shops for like the new Yeezys and stuff like that, I think that's what that shoe's called.
I just can't get into shoes. And then again, I don't buy them too often anyway. So
oh yeah, like people who like I have a couple pair of shoes just because I have friends that are sneakerheads and stuff like that. So like I don't want to get made fun of every time I'm in their presence. But I never buy I've had a pair of Jordans once in my entire life. I literally bought myself a pair of Jordans after I graduated high school. And then people got mad at me because I would play basketball with my Jordans.
can't do that. Isn't that what they're for? No.
They're like, no, those are fashion shoes. And I'm like, then why do they feel so good when I played? I literally played basketball in those shoes until I ran out of them. Like, they were one of the most comfortable pairs of shoes I ever had. But then when people were getting mad at me, like, dude, you don't play, you don't use Jordans. It's like when some people get mad at you when you go out to the woods and like someone has a pair of Timberlands on, and they're like, "Yo, what are you doing bringing Timberlands out in the woods?" And it's like it's a pair of boots. It's their intended purpose, you know.
Yeah, I've never been told that. But then again, I mean, I buy Nikes, but I'll wear them out until I use them 2 or 3 years, so I just have to buy another pair. And the only reason I buy those is because they seem to like already be worn in when you buy them. It's not like cheap Walmart shoes where they like hurt the heck out of your feet for the first few weeks or whatever.
Oh yeah,
I'll buy Nikes because they already feel like they're worn in. That's really the main reason. I don't do it because it's a name brand. I'll get the clearance ones too. I'll go buy like the cheapest ones I like, but then I just like them because they already seem like they're worn in.
I have different shoes for like different reasons because I have no arch in my feet. Like, I'm completely flat-footed. So to me, like, the most comfortable, like, wearing out shoes, those are Converses for me because they already have, like, no built-in arch anyway, like most other tennis shoes do. And I have a pair of running shoes from when I was actually running because I was training to just run in a marathon because a person who I was dating was a marathon runner. Yeah, dude, I went to Chicago last year in December, and
I bet it was cold.
It was okay until the last day we were there, and then like it dropped like 40 degrees in like 2 hours.
It was definitely the Windy City.
Oh, dude, funny you should mention that because like I'm talking to because like I had never experienced cold like that. My parents are from like the hot parts of like Louisiana and Arkansas.
Yeah,
you know, most of my family this is as north as they go, as Chattanooga, pretty much. So like I had never experienced cold like that, and I was just like seeing what I needed. I was just like, yo, would it be ridiculous for me to pack some long johns and stuff like that? And she was like, babe, it's not going to be that cold. And I'm like, no, it's going to be that cold to me. And she was just like, it's not that bad. I'm like, your city's called the Windy City. And she was just like, oh, that's just a political thing. That isn't like really the case when you go to Chicago.
Until the last day.
And the last day, we're literally going and the wind is blowing at us, and we're like literally things off cartoons. Like we're like leaning into the wind. Our scarves are fluttering in the wind, and I'm just like looking at them like it's the Windy City because of politics.
You're like,
it's the Windy City because of politics. Yeah,
oh, man.
It's like you lied to me. I hate this. But no, Chicago was great. But one day she was just like, "Hey, let's ride bikes around Chicago." And I was like thinking maybe we were gonna ride for like 15 minutes, maybe a couple miles. We started at 11 o'clock in the morning. We didn't get back to her parents' house until like I want to say close to 11 at night, and we biked 24 miles.
Nice.
Through Chicago.
But you were sore the next day.
Oh, dude, my legs were done for like the next 3. Like I was like, I could barely walk. Like it took. Like after I got walking, it was better. But like waking up, especially, like yeah, it was like one of those situations where you're just like leaning toward each side and just like shifting your body to walk, pretty much.
Like one of those old cowboys with the circle legs that arch like this. You put stick on the horse. That's how you walk.
Exactly.
I've been to Chicago once, and it was in 10th grade when I was in the band. I played trumpet I was in the band in high school, and
Ringgold?
Went to Ridgeland High School.
Oh, Ridgeland, yeah. Okay.
We went to Chicago for our 10th grade band trip and competition up there, and that was the only time I went. We went into the is it Sears Tower? Is that the tall one? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We went up there, got a certificate saying that we went up there, and it really wasn't too windy until like you get to the top of there, and it was super windy up there. Like,
can't you like really feel it? Like, that's what people tell me. We didn't go to the top.
Feel it leaning.
Yeah, you can like feel it kind of swaying in the breeze a little bit.
I don't remember. That was a long time ago. I was 16 or 17 at that point, so that was a long time ago.
People tell me it's like, yeah, when you actually get to the top, you can like feel it if you pay attention to it. I'm like, I don't
know. I don't know. But we did that. We went to it was cool, the malls there, because it's not like Hamilton Place. You got 2 levels and everything's wide. It was one building and it goes up. So like each floor was a different store.
Yeah.
The basement was a food court where you get a little card and you swipe at each one to put your food on it, and at the very end you swiped it to pay it after you go around the food court. And then like above that it's like a Sears, and above that's like another store.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, we went to that.
I don't know why I thought that was interesting, because it was vertical.
They decided, the only reason I even saw the malls there is because like it was like right next to this like little German market that was going on at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still one of the best bratwursts I've ever had, but yeah. I really enjoyed Chicago. Chicago was nice.
The cab drivers were nuts. I do remember that.
Oh, we never took a cab, but
we got into a cab to go to a museum by the lakefront or whatever, and we were all getting there our own way. And there was a girl that was a senior at the time. It was me, her, and someone else got into a cab, and this guy was driving nuts. Like, I don't know how he didn't wreck. Like, he was a pro. He would squeeze in these vehicles, and I'm like, how's he not, like, scraping bumpers or whatever? Like, nuts. It was nuts. It was a crazy
dude,
drive
I saw some pretty nutso things while I was in Chicago, but complete your story.
Yeah, but she was so terrified that she, like, squeezed my hand and dug her nails into my skin. Like, that's how terrible. She did not ride another one the rest of the trip, and I thought that was hilarious. I mean, I was, I was like, I'm just keeping my cool, but trying to keep my cool, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to wreck.
Yeah, just like looking down at your feet most of the time, and she's like, oh, I've never noticed that lace before.
You got to drive that way up there because the traffic was, it was crazy.
Yeah, man.
That was fun.
So, first night, like, I get there, and I'm just like, I'm in Chicago, and it's just, like, she hadn't been there in a couple of years either, so it's just like, let's just drive around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm really getting, like, not only like honked at but yelled at for just following like traffic laws. They're like at one point, like, I'm just like waiting because like all these cars are like turning in, and like I'm like waiting to make a left because like all these cars are turning in, and the people behind me are honking, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And then like she starts yelling at me, and she's like, no, this is Chicago rule, you're supposed to go into the middle median and wait until you can turn, that way you keep traffic going. And I'm just like, is that not against the law? Because like that's always been against the law everywhere else I've been in my entire life. You tell me if a cop drives by, sees me doing this shit, I'm not about to get pulled over? Is that what you're telling me?
She's like, why aren't you on the sidewalk right now? They'll move. You drive right up on the... And I'm just like, you don't know how to drive on 2 wheels? No, like, sideways.
I'm like, you people are nuts.
Oh man. It's like, you ever seen an action movie? It's just like that, but only we do it. It's just normal up here.
It's just like, the dude who was casting Baby Driver, they just saw him driving down Chicago one day. It's just a normal guy.
Just normal.
Yeah.
Or like the dude from Initial D. He's just like, whatever, drifting around the curves.
Oh, there's like that one bit about, there's a comedian that does a bit. He goes like, he was in Chicago one time, and like he was stopped at a red light and the roads were icy, and like literally like he saw this dude like didn't stop, just kept sliding, and dude was just took his coffee and just drank while he's just like drifting into the median.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just like, dude, these are like different types of people.
He sticks a what was the thing you use when you're skiing? What are those called? He sticks one. Here, let me turn. I can see that happening.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was crazy. Like, there were a lot of things that I found just like really crazy when I went to Chicago. One, I had never been in a city that big. The biggest city that I'd probably been in was DC, but that was when I was 11. Like, no, I was 14 when we did that, because that was my 8th grade year. We went to DC for like a week, and then when my literature teacher tried to fail everybody that went to that trip because we missed homework, and it's just like, yo, we're in the state capitol right now. We like went to museums every day. Like, probably the weirdest part of that was going to the Holocaust Museum. I don't know if you've ever been to the DC.
No, never been up there.
They have
they
have like a museum that's just like dedicated to like all the people that like lost their lives in the Holocaust camps, and they have like imagery and like just a bunch of weird shit, dude. Like, we were
kind of graphic.
Yeah, it was an emotional ride going through that, because like I knew about World War II because my grandfather fought in it, and so did like 5 of his brothers. So
wow.
Like I knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know nearly as much about the Holocaust camps as I thought I did. And I went in, and at one point they had like this like weird jacket that's on display, right? And it's just like it doesn't look right, but you don't know why. And when you get to the front of it, it's like, hey, do not touch. And we're just like, oh, that's weird. Like, I wonder why you can't touch it. Then you go to the back, and it's like, this jacket is made from human skin.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah. Like, I was just like, I was like,
like who and why and where and when, what?
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, weird Nazi scientists, man. This pretty much the entire, it's just like, yeah, dude, weird Nazi scientists were really fucked up. And like, you would go through, that was like the weirdest part. The funnest part for me was we went to the part of the Smithsonian that was like the space part. Yeah. And we went to the dinosaur part too. Because they have like all these different parts in the Smithsonian. You could go to DC for a week and just do a different part of the Smithsonian.
There's probably tons of museums up there, I bet.
Yeah, we did a lot. We did a lot of art museums and everything like that. Weirdly enough, I didn't see real Van Goghs and real Salvador Dali's, because those are my favorite painters. Yeah, I don't. Do you have one?
Not really.
Yeah,
no. I like art museums and enjoy them. I don't really know if I have a favorite though.
Yeah,
I like looking at them and stuff, but don't really have.
Vincent Van Gogh's my favorite just because of Doctor Who. To be quite honest,
that was a good episode.
Yeah, good episode of the Sunflowers. Yeah. So, what are some movies that like kind of like wanted, like you see that movie is like, I want to be like that guy as like an actor. Like those are like.
Well, I was actually just watched a video on some behind the scenes stuff about Tom Cruise, and like you always hear about people doing their own stunt work, like Jackie Chan. Everyone knows he does his own stunt work. He's gotten hurt on set, that kind of stuff. You've known that. I did not know Tom Cruise did most of his stunts. Like I had no idea he did as many as I thought he did. Oh yeah. And I was watching this video, and like just the Mission Impossible movies, he did almost, if not all of it. And
I know in the new, like the one with oh my god, his name is slipping me. The one he did, he was Superman.
Henry Cavill?
Yeah, Henry Cavill. Like the one we did where Henry Cavill was an enemy, he's actually flying that helicopter. Like not Henry Cavill, but
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is actually flying.
Yeah, I think that's Mission Impossible Fallout, if I'm not mistaken, which I actually haven't seen that one. I've seen almost all of them, but I think there's one or two I haven't seen. Yeah, that was also in the video. Like he knows how to fly helicopters, and not only did he fly the helicopter in the scene, the maneuvers that he did in between the hills is more difficult than some pilots who are professionals can't even do that. Like what the heck, man? Like he's dude, awesome.
Like, in the last one, he shattered his leg.
When he was jumping from the building. He broke his leg, and because you can see it where he limps slightly, where right before they cut that clip, and they just cut it into when it was fixed, and then right after that scene, the next thing he went on to film, he did a halo jump. Freaking halo jump from the atmosphere with his broken leg.
Dude, Tom Cruise is fucking nuts. Like he's awesome. So intense. Like
and I love that too, because people have made fun of him just because he's like a little on the short side, and like freaking Family Guy and all that making fun.
Family Guy has made fun of him. Oh, dude,
it kind of gives me hope because I
do. Have you ever seen the South Park episode?
I have not. No.
Oh, dude. So Stan in the episode, like he goes to like the Scientology people so that they can like measure his whatever levels. Like I don't claim to know that much about Scientology.
I don't either.
And he winds up being they wind up telling him that he's the reincarnation of Hubbard, the guy that started Scientology.
I didn't even know that.
And Tom Cruise like comes to his house and like locks himself in the closet when Stan pretty much just says like, I'm not really a big fan of your stuff, and like R. Kelly's in the episode. Tom Cruise stuck in the closet. He like starts doing like they start doing the closet parodies off it and stuff. Oh, dude, it's a great episode. He's in a couple just because like every time that like Tom Cruise in an episode of South Park, he sues the creators. And he's like, "Bet you won't do it again," and they're just like, "Okay."
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Like, dude, that's my favorite show of all time.
I'd probably be fine with it, even if you make fun of me. I'd be like, exposure, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of famous actors will do. I still think they'll do stupid crap because it gets their name back on the radar, you know, for exposure. Some of the actors. That's what I think anyway. I don't know, maybe.
I mean, yeah, of course, exposure. I mean, that's why fighters do dumb stuff in the MMA sometimes, just to get like more clicks and to get more people that know their name.
Yeah, but yeah, I always thought I was short, even though I'm average. And Brianna's all like, "You are not short, you are tall." But I mean, I would be.
How tall are you?
5'10".
Yeah,
I mean that's average, but it seems like everybody's so much taller than me. And Brandon's like, "Stop that," you know. But of course she's only 5'1", so
yeah. I feel like people like, especially like when I'm meeting people new, like they get weirded out by me because I'm very calm. Because I'm 6'3", I'm not the tallest dude.
I think that's pretty tall.
Yeah, I find myself being like to be like very intimidating and stuff like that, especially around people like who don't know me. Like that's just like one of the things that come up to me. It's just like, "Hey, dude, you're a monster." But that's just like one of my self-doubt things. It's just like I think people are intimidated by me when they really not. So that's like kind of like why I act weird or like around newer people, and I eventually warm up, and then you can't get me to shut the fuck up. Kind of like with this interview.
I can be that way sometimes. I can be quiet and reserved, but then if there's a subject that I'm really interested in, sometimes I could talk forever and ever. And of course, I get sidetracked a lot too. I'll get on one subject, cut off on another one, then cut off on another one. That line that I was on, I already forgot what I was talking about, and I'm like, "What were we talking about again?" Like, you got so far off the rails.
Like some of the people have been getting on to me because, like I said, this is only the 5th time I've done this, and even like when I was being filmed for like the live shows and stuff like that, I really was never interviewing people. That like just talking to people and stuff like that. So it's just people are like, "You need to stay on subject of what you're talking about," and I'm just like, it's not really what I want to do. I just want to have conversations with people, make new friends, fuck around with my friends. Like me and Dustin were here just like 3 hours, and there was just sometimes where like me and him are just like on the table just like hyperventilating because we were just laughing so hard.
Oh
yeah. But yeah, did you find like any? I see you being like a James Bond guy for some reason, like you liking, like especially like early on. I might be completely wrong with that. I probably am with the look that I'm getting right now.
Like movies that I like, or that define me. I some of my favorite movies of all time, like I guess it'd be mostly from when I was a kid. Like I love The Neverending Story.
Oh, dude.
So one of my favorite
movies.
So good. Just the first one, though.
I didn't watch that movie until I was like 25. I watched like Neverending Story and The Breakfast Club in the same night. And I was just like, what the fuck were my parents doing never showing me these movies?
It was a good movie. I loved it. And I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. I guess older movies. I mean, any action film, really. I love action flicks.
Oh, dude. Especially like back in the day. Like especially like in the 90s action films. They were so... They're so bad now, but they were so great at the time. And also, like, when something's filmed in the 90s, I never have to ask myself when that movie was made. There's just, like, a charm that, like, 90s movies have to me.
Well, there's no CGI either, so if there's a really good action scene, it was done very well. Like, they did all that, you know. There's no green screen. There's no, you know, they had to... It was probably a lot more dangerous and stuff like that, which brings me back to the Tom Cruise stuff. Some of the behind-the-scenes stuff he was doing was still super dangerous. He was doing it, and there wasn't that much screen for that either. So, which he gives me hope, too, when I was talking about his height, which I'm totally not making fun of. But I always thought I was a little on the short side. But he does all this crap, and he's freaking famous, and I forget how tall he is, but this gives me...
He's short.
I think he's like 5'7", maybe?
Something like that.
It gives me hope, so I'm like, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can get somewhere someday. And I would love to do all my stunts too. I've actually been doing a lot of I've done acting classes like method acting and that kind of stuff, which everything's on Zoom now, which kind of sucks because you can't really get that one-on-one stuff. It's just all on video.
Yeah, there's not much you can really learn, like especially if like you're trying to act and stuff like that. Like I tried doing a comedy course like while we were doing this, and for one, the teacher who was teaching us wasn't funny, and I'm just like. Well,
they've got their money by then too. You've already paid them, so it's going to be what it is. Which I got to train with a guy named Scott Rogers, and he trained. He was a mentor for who is it plays Aquaman? Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
He trained him. Got to work with him on set at one point before he was Aquaman. And but I thought he was a really great teacher, even though it was over Zoom meeting. I would have liked to do things in person. It was still a pretty small group. And we did a Zoom meeting, I think once a week for about 4 weeks, a 4-week course, and we do something different every time. He gives us homework to do and everything. Like I thought he did a really great job. I enjoyed the course. It wasn't too terribly expensive, and it was all on method acting. And I think I learned a lot from it. I took notes, so I could remember stuff. But stuff like that, I hate that it's over Zoom, but but it's been great. And I've been going to a gym. When it opened back up, then they do all the social distancing with the mask and stuff. And I've been doing training like with sword training and size and handgun training and all that stuff. And I've been listening to that on my resume.
John Wick in it?
I'd like to, yeah. Well, they even taught us about his method that John Wick uses. John Wick is a very... it's not like a regular, like there are different ways to hold your gun. Like a regular way police officers trained is their body's facing completely forward and they come up with a gun straight forward, almost like an A-frame kind of. Military turns to the side a little bit. And what they do is they keep their arms in close because when you're wearing armor, your sides are exposed. The armor doesn't come all the way up to your armpits. So they, you want that bullet. You'd rather that bullet go into your arm first and hopefully ricochet out of it. Because as soon as it goes into here, it's going to hit vital organs. So you'd rather get shot in the arm than hit an organ. So they're real close and everything. And John Wick, he has everything up to his chest and really close because he had a lot of close combat even with the firearm. And that's why you see all of him shooting straight from the chest and everything and where he could turn it either way. But they were showing us all these different methods, and that was just with handgun. That wasn't even with a rifle or shotgun or anything.
Yeah, but do you ever see the videos of him going through actual tactical training for John Wick 2?
Yeah, that's another cool thing. I love learning all of that, and even if you don't know it, once you become big enough, they find people to train you. You do tons of intense training before you even start your role, or get somebody to 6-week course of building up your abs so you can look good with your shirt off or whatever. Stuff like that.
Yeah, to tell you how cool Keanu Reeves is, that place is actually really popular in California now. That's an actual spot you can go to California and do tactical things.
It's like a studio or something.
Yeah. And John Wick let them use that video and was don't worry about paying me. You guys are pretty cool when I was there. So
nice. Yeah. The place I go to is in Atlanta, and I love the gym. But they do all kinds of stuff there. They do weight training. They do wire work. They got wires hanging from the ceiling and they're launching in the air and you do flips and stuff. They do stuff like that. They even do yoga. They do all kinds of stuff. They have people training.
Where is this?
It's called Worldwide Fitness Gym, and it's in Atlanta. Okay. And and the guy there is real cool, and he owns it, and he gets people. Even when he can't have people in person, he had a guy who was a karate black belt train us on a class over Zoom. He had a screen set up, and he would teach us combat bow staff. And so even if he can't bring them in, just to hold his class there in the gym and have someone train us over video, whatever. And it's a live feed, so he can go over it with everyone to get the right technique down or whatever. So,
all right. So what's your favorite?
Really fun stuff.
What's your favorite weapon to use so far?
I don't know. I mean, I like the handgun methods that I was taught. I like all of that. Unholstering and coming up and coming back down and the close.
Yeah.
The bow staff was really fun. The size were interesting because they almost seem like an awkward weapon, but once you get used to flipping them around and holding them different ways and learning techniques with those, they're really fun. My favorite that I still got to work on, though, is probably the Screamer Sticks, which is what Nightwing had. It's the first weapons I ever learned 5 years ago. Yeah. And just learning techniques with these Screamer Sticks really awesome. And not to mention, in the comic books, he's got 10,000 volts of electricity on the end of them. You know,
yeah. Oh, dude, I love that. Especially, like, I always loved the Arkham games when you got to play as Nightwing in the certain situations.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you watch Arrow? Do you watch any of the DC TV shows?
I watched Arrow, and I watched Arrow till about season 4, and I watched Flash till about season 3, and I just kind of fell off, started watching other things.
I did a little bit, but I'm trying to catch up on the last season that's on Netflix, and this doesn't really give anything away or spoil anything, but there's a character that came in with some Eskrima sticks, and just an episode that I just watched and was just awesome with them, and I'm glad they keep incorporating that weapon into stuff, and it kind of pays homage to Nightwing or some of the characters that they
I really want like a Batman movie where it's Dick Grayson as Batman, because that actually happened in the comics, like right before a reboot series happened, like Bruce Wayne gets shot and killed, and then to kind of like put Gotham back on the right track, like, you know, Dick comes back from Bloodhaven and comes back to Gotham and takes up the Batman mantle.
I'm pretty sure there have been several instances where he has taken up the mantle, either when they thought Batman was dead, Bruce was dead, or he was just away for a while, or he was away and they thought he was dead and turns out he wasn't and came back. Always so mysterious, Bruce is, but he's taken up the mantle lots of times, and then I think in some of them Nightwing even has, or Dick Grayson even has a suit where it's blue and black. Yeah. And it's the Nightwing Batman suit, or Dick Grayson Batman suit. But the Batwoman series, there's only been one season of it, which they're recasting Batwoman now. But in that series, she takes up the mantle as Batwoman because Batman's gone. No one's heard from him. He disappeared. So that there's no Batman in that. I think it'd be cool if they had a Dick Grayson come back and do the mantle a couple episodes. Yeah. Because that'd be a good time to bring in a Dick Grayson, I think, because all the other CW shows, I don't think there's been a Grayson character at all, or like mentioned, but I'm not
my
sure.
favorite of the Robins has always been number 1 Dick Grayson, number 2 Damian, which I know Damian is the newer type deal.
That's mine too. Well, Damian's freaking I like his character story. Yeah, I mean, trained by
the League of Assassins, like, was literally killing people when he was like 8 years old and shit, like just murking people.
But they portray him as mostly becoming good later on.
Yeah. And well, I mean, it's like as
Batman
soon as
tries to teach him,
as soon as like Batman like realizes that he's a thing, pretty much, and everything that I've seen, it's just like, you know, goes Tasha, you did what to me, you know?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like Dick Grayson, and then Damian's probably my second favorite.
I like Jason Todd. Like, I like the Red Hood like image and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do love Red Hood too.
That. I especially like the conflict that Batman has with Red Hood, that he can't really bring him in because he feels kind of guilty with the way that he wound up anyway. Yeah.
The whole Bat family. Out of all DC and Marvel, like I love Marvel movies, but I'm still like a huge DC fan, and I always love the Bat family. I always love all the characters.
Yeah, I always love, like, Batman's probably my favorite in DC, which makes a lot of people in Metrotham mad, because, like, you just don't know that much about DC. That might be true. All right,
it's my favorite too, so whatever.
I grew up mostly liking Marvel, and then like I found like DC comics that like I really enjoyed. Like, I really enjoyed The Killing Joke. Yeah, like the first time everybody remembers when they read The Killing Joke for the first time. Pretty much, I feel, if they've read it. Yeah, you know, that's like the one where Barbara gets shot by Joker and everything like that. It's not a very action-packed comic, but it's a very emotional comic. Yeah. But that and the Flashverse, where the Flash changes points of history.
Flashpoint.
Yeah, and then like through that, like on the night that Bruce Wayne's parents died, like Bruce Wayne actually dies, and Thomas becomes Batman, and Martha becomes Joker. I always enjoyed that stuff, like just all the different variances and stuff like that. Plus, I just like how DC has like more of like an adult and just darker tone to it. Yeah, they're not as optimistic, which is what I really enjoy. as far as like the Marvel goes, because I feel like Marvel heroes are just like way too optimistic about some things. It's like, oh, just let this guy go. You know, he's learned his lesson. He's like, he just tried to kill everything. Kill that man with fire. But yeah, I was, as far as me, like movie goes and stuff like that, like probably like the first like sci-fi movies that like I watched as a kid growing up was, of course, Alien.
Yeah.
And Aliens. Yeah. The Alien movie was just so great. Predator 1 was great. Predator 2 was all right. Everything they've made after those has been garbage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I always loved Predator.
My favorite sci-fi movie as a kid, and probably still as an adult, is Terminator 2.
Yeah. Everybody loves that.
Yeah.
And then let's see, what's some, I'm trying to think just sci-fi now, some ones I like.
We could put superhero in sci-fi too. Like, it doesn't have to just be purely sci-fi.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of oh goodness. What was the one where the guy was playing the video game? He was really good at it, and the aliens came down and picked him up and said, "You're going to be the pilot to save us all." I can't remember the name of that movie.
Oh, dude, that sounds familiar, but I'm not thinking about it either. I also just like really ridiculous movies from back in the day, like Jumanji.
Yeah.
Like with Robin Williams. Robin Williams was the only thing that made that movie watchable if you go back and watch it. But yeah, dude, there was just like so...
Oh, anything Robin Williams was in was great.
Oh, dude, that's one of my personal heroes. Like, for real.
Especially after learning what he went through in his life and what he struggled with, which really wasn't even brought to light until after he passed.
Yeah, like the reason
which is crazy.
The reason he killed himself was because he was getting Parkinson's, like really bad.
I don't even know if I knew that.
Yeah, like and he felt like once like it fully took him, it was going to take away everything that he was, because you know, especially in his comedy and everything, Robin was just so flamboyant and stuff like that. Like, he was the guy that whenever he would do a stand-up special, like, there would be 9 bottles of water just because he'd be sweating so much and everything like that. Like, literally, his shirt, whatever color it was see-through by the end of the filming. So, yeah. What are some roles that, like, if you got, like, you would be ecstatic for?
Man, anything superhero-ish would be great. I always thought I could fit that type. Which, when you're doing acting, I've been told by talent managers and agents that you need to find your type.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone wants to be well-rounded, but when you're starting off, you kind of want to try to find a certain type. From what I've been told, it's not necessarily applies to everyone, but most of the time, you find that type and you go and do those because you know you can do them well. Yeah. And the type that I've kind of been doing and getting a lot will pick me for is like a police officer, military, or FBI, detective or whatever like that. Like, everyone kind of thinks I kind of look like those types, which I guess I kind of do. Yeah,
I can see it.
People always asked me where I served. Like, they'd always ask me if I was in the military. Like, people always thought that, and I've never been in the military. They said maybe it's the way I hold myself or the way I talk or something. And I was like, oh, well, I've had family that have been. I've got family that are police officers that have been in the military or whatever, friends that have been in the Marines, which I almost joined the Marines when I was younger. I was this close to signing up. And then I think I got a girlfriend, so I think that changed that. But
I tried to join the Navy.
Stuff happens. But
I tried to join the Navy, and they straight looked at my medical history, and they're like, "Get out of here!"
Oh, man.
Yeah,
man, yeah. I almost joined the Marines. Went. I was working at Steak and Shake at the time. I was an assistant manager, and they were opening up a new chain in Raleigh, North Carolina, and so they picked like 4 or 5 of us to go up there and train everyone to open up. And oh my gosh, opening day was nuts. It was like we see a new restaurant and the drive-thru's wrapping around the place like twice and out into the street. It was like that for like a week straight. Like, it was ridiculous. And everyone they hired, they were all on staff like all the time. And what they did was, when they first opened, I think they weren't open during third shift because Steak and Shake was usually 24 hours. Not now because of COVID, or at least not in this area. They're closed at night. But they didn't have that one open at night just because it was so busy and it was just how the training hours worked. But there were so many people just in the back working that it was nuts. Like, it was crazy. And it was so slow. People getting their food, getting mad, and we're like, do you see how many people are here? Like, come on now. But while I was there, the hotel we were staying in, there was a Marines recruitment station right there. And at that point in my life, I was like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? I really didn't know. So I was like, well, let's check this out. Thought about going into the military because I had some friends that went to the Marines and one went into the Navy. And I was just like, I know I could do this, so that close, but never did do it.
Oh, dude, like, I'm kind of glad that I didn't do it. I'm not, it's just like, I've never seen any of my friends that did come back the same. Yeah. Pretty much. And, I grew up, like, none of, like, my other, like, who were younger than my grandparents were, like, in the military and everything. I had, like, I actually knew all of my grandfather's siblings who fought in the war because him and 5 other brothers fought in World War II, but they all came back.
That's good.
And so, and they all lived to be, like, I think the oldest one, like, lived to be, like, to, like, 97 or 98.
Were they, like, deployed in the front lines and all that stuff? Like, did they see a lot of combat?
My the one who survived the longest did. My grandfather was in the Navy. That's why I wanted to join the Navy. But his brother, his older brother, and my uncle Harold, great uncle Harold, he was in the Army and was a sniper and was actually a German POW.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, the Germans actually sent a letter to my great-grandmother saying that he had died in conflict, that he had died in their camp, and then came back after the war was over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah.
Man.
And
maybe they just got it wrong, or maybe they did on purpose just to be mean.
Yeah, the dude, and that changed him. Like, I never knew him before, of course, because, I wasn't walking around in the 50s. Yeah. But, like, whenever you walk...
Yeah, you look good for your age, man.
Yeah, whenever you, like, walk into his house, you'd walk in, hey, Uncle Harold. You'd be like, hey, Justin. And I'd be like, walk in, and he'd be like, he goes, like, get yourself something to eat. And I'm like, Uncle Harold, I just ate. I'm not hungry. He's like, you're hungry. You just don't know it yet. Because he was a German. He was like, literally came back bones. Yeah. And was just like, he never missed a meal and even added on meals after that. Yeah. And was like always just, his house was like so full of food. It was just like a thing that happened to him where he had to have like plentiful amount of food. Like, he wasn't even unhealthy. Like I said, he lived to be 98.
Yeah. I guess going through something like that would make you very grateful for the things you got. So
like, you did not leave his house without eating something. That was like one thing with him too. He made sure people didn't go anywhere hungry. It was weird. Yeah, it was sweet, but it was a little extreme sometimes too. Like, we go to his house, like, literally just got back from like a party where we all just like ate and ate and ate and ate. Like, we're all just like trying to stay awake at that point. And he like be like, all right, who wants some apple pie? Like,
oh god. I think I had in high school, I had 3 friends I can remember. One went into the Navy. I don't remember what he did, but I think he signed up for like, because they were having a good bonus at the time. And then the other 2 went into Marines. And I know one was a tank mechanic, so I don't think he ever saw combat, which he always worked on cars in high school anyway. Like, I remember spending the night with him. We worked on his, like, I think he had an Infinity G20 or something we worked on, or we're supposed to work on. We ended up sleeping in half the day, but so he knew his way around the car more than I did. So I think he became a tank mechanic, and I don't think he ever saw combat. And then my other friend, he was I want to say he was a heavy machine gunner. So he had seen some action, and I don't know much more about it. I don't know if he took any lives, and I want to say he did, but it's not something I ever really asked.
Yeah, it's not something you ask with soldiers.
Yeah, and then he came back, and he's now a cop down in the middle of Georgia somewhere. I think he's got a canine. He's a canine unit. He's got a dog and everything, so I think he's a part of a canine unit. Well, what he does for a living now. Yeah, and I got a coworker now. He was a Marine sniper, so he had seen plenty of action and all that. And I think he still goes to, I don't know if he like goes to therapy or whatever or stuff, but I mean that stuff will change you too. So
I mean, yeah, being a soldier will definitely change you, and like.
And some PTSD and stuff.
Yeah, and I say none of that negatively. Like, I love soldiers. I grew up around soldiers, and close.
I have a ton of respect for anyone.
Oh yeah, for anyone who could go do that. Like I said,
like police officers. Yeah. I know they're bad ones too. There's some.
I mean, that's
up cops, but
that's the thing. There's shitty people everywhere. There's shitty people in every organization that you're going to be in.
Yeah, and they do some crappy things, but it doesn't mean all of them are bad.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. I'm going to pause real quick because I got pee so bad. My back teeth are floating.
No.
Yeah.
I have no idea what time it started.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half ago. But yeah, sorry folks, had to, go take care of nature. But yeah, what were we talking about? I know I should know this.
We were talking about soldiers, police and soldiers.
Yeah, like I also have family members that are police officers and everything like that, and they're great people, loving people. But like I said, there are going to be some bad ones, and my only negative thing I'll probably say about the police is, you should out the bad ones when, like, you shouldn't try to defend the bad ones. It's like my thing. I understand that it's like a brotherhood and everything like that, but it's not going to change on either side until people start pushing like the bad apples forward, to put it simply.
Yeah. I don't think they get paid enough, honestly.
Oh, dude, they don't get paid enough, and they don't get trained enough either.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
it takes less time in this country to be it takes more time in this country to be a barber than it does to be a police officer.
Yeah, and I mean, they have to go through psychology training too. Like they ask you a lot of questions about things that have to do with your morals and stuff. Because my brother-in-law went through all that. I mean, which that's good, but. Yeah, I mean, they're good and bad, and I understand what my. I guess I can't say I understand it, but I can see why my sister is. Every night he goes off, and he might not come back. She'll tell him you could do a routine traffic stop, and dude's just going to try to blow you away no matter what. You never know.
Did you hear about that guy in in Tucson County?
Was it the one that got shot when he just pulled over a guy? The one they chased all the way to the backside of Lake Winnie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that night, and because we actually went right by Lake Winnie, and we didn't know what was going on. There were tons of people at that gas station. There were news stations. There were cops blocking off the roads. There were cops inside Lake Winnie around the woods back there. We're like, what the heck's going on? And then we saw Facebook blowing up with stuff, and we were like, oh, some dude's hiding in the woods, shooting everything up.
Trying to go all Last Alamo on everybody.
Yeah, and I think the cop was fine. It wasn't fatal or anything. But the cops are going after him. They're like, you shot one of ours. We're coming. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they eliminated him.
You're dead. Yeah.
I think that's how it ended. They killed him. Which, I mean, if he's going guns a-blazing, they probably don't have any other choice. I mean, yeah. I get it.
No, like, I'm pretty sure they're labeling it suicide by cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like...
He probably wasn't going out easy. From what I understand, I don't know the full details, but...
I mean, I don't know the guys. I know the stories here and there, but, you know, they did shoot that... the cop didn't even, from my understanding, didn't even have enough time to get out of his car when they shot him.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That he just started firing right at the window and everything.
And which I'm not sure about that police officer's name, but I was really thankful to know that he was okay, that he was out of critical condition like halfway before the day was rolled over. But
I mean, how you gonna know? You're just doing your job, pulling somebody over. Before you even get out of the vehicle.
Yeah, it is a stressful job.
That's why I don't think they get paid enough.
They don't get paid nearly enough for what they do. Like, I was talking to one of my more crazy left-sided friends who's completely defund the police, get rid of police, and I'm just like, you can't say that because you've never been a police officer. And she was just like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, dude, you know where cops go? And she's like, what? I'm like, they go where cops get called, all right? They're sketchy situations. They have to deal with sketchy situations. It's literally in their job description to deal with sketchy situations. Knowing that, they could probably get killed that night, which I understand that, but, we need better training and better pay.
I mean, you got to deal with death, too. I'm trying to remember if I have this correct, but my brother-in-law was working a third shift. And I think he got called out to a house where someone had hung themselves,
Oh, yeah.
You got to walk in there and see all that. You got to get them down. I mean, what? You got to deal with that,
I'm guaranteed.
It's not always a shootout, and it's not always pulling somebody over. You
just got to deal with
weird stuff you got to deal with.
Yeah, plus that, there are people that within, the police force that their job is to go into crime scenes and, clean them up, literally cleaning brain matter out of carpet.
Yeah.
Just you usually last 6 months, if that, in that job, and it's just because that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, and domestic disputes alone, you got to deal with other people's crap and solve that, and then that can get tiresome too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Dealing with other people's drama. Imagine having to do that every night. Especially working a night shift. That's when all the stupid people are doing stupid stuff. So arguing and stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's lots to deal with. I don't think teachers get paid enough either.
Oh, dude, teachers...
Definitely not.
There's a lot of people in this country that don't get paid nearly what they should, and people get paid way too much money for the nothing they do.
Where would we be without teachers? I mean, that's literally how we learn from children on up, until we're at least 18 anyways.
Yeah, and what kills me, especially in the political climate, when one side is just we need to pay cops more, we need to pay teacher more, but if you elect me as whatever, I will cut taxes. And it's just I don't know if you know how taxes work, but that's how police officers and teachers get paid. Theoretically, taxes do I'm not wrong in that, right? Taxes, that's how cops get their salary. That's how teachers get their salary.
I mean, the government paid, so I'm assuming.
Yeah. So.
I have always tried to stay out of politics, and I know I shouldn't. I know I should really get more involved, but it's so annoying.
It's very annoying.
With the way
I enjoy it. I say I enjoy it, but it's just I understand it because I came from a very politically one side of my family in particular. My dad's side of the family, pretty politically heavy. We have lawyers, some people who were mayors, and people who ran for Senate and stuff like that. So. I grew up around it and stuff like that, and just listening to them, so I can see how things break down. But then my human side takes over, and it's just dude, these numbers are talking about lives right now, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I get on things. Do you play video games at all?
I used to heavily, not so much anymore. The only thing I play now, I have Call of Duty Mobile, and I play it on break at work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on break sometimes.
Well, I'm guessing...
I'm actually not bad at it, but that's the only thing I play anymore because I stay so busy.
Yeah, plus
doing stuff now.
Doing what you're doing, and plus the 5 kids and everything like that.
Yeah.
How old were you when you had your oldest?
Let's see. Well, she is 13. So, how old was I? 21, maybe?
21?
21, 22, somewhere around there. Yeah.
I like that because it's like I relate to that so much. Like, people, I have to remind myself that, like, of my age so many times. I'm just like, oh, what the... People have had to tell me that it's my birthday. I'm one of those people.
Yeah. It is weird that I have a teenager now. It's really...
Dude, how crazy is that?
It's pretty crazy. Of course, she's... For a couple years now, she acted like she's older.
Yeah.
Don't like it at all.
Oh, yeah, and you as a parent, you're not supposed to, but,
No.
It's kind of a sign that you're doing your job, right? When they have opinions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm like, you need to calm down because you're not that old yet. So, when you're 18, then I'll kick you out and you can do what you want. The way I see it is I'll always, as long as my child's doing what they're supposed to and doing the right thing and trying in life,
Yeah.
I'll always have a home for them and always try to help them out as much as I can.
Yeah.
With what I've got. But if they're just not, that's kind of my philosophy. But if they're just intentionally doing the worst things and not trying to help themselves, I'm like, you're on your own. You gotta.
Sometimes
trying, I'll help you, but
yeah, sometimes some of those people need that like
love.
little kick to like kind of like straighten themselves out.
A couple of kicks.
Yeah. Like I moved to Nashville for a couple of years, but like right now I'm living with the parents just because like I don't know if you had to deal with this lately. It's really hard to get a place right now, especially with like the pandemic and everything going on.
Man, rent is more expensive than buying a home.
Yeah.
But buying a home is almost a trap too with crap and like a lot of mortgage companies, they change their rates constantly, so you're never paying the same thing every month, which I really hate. It's kind of ridiculous. And like my company, not trying to badmouth it, but I haven't gotten a raise in 2 years. We used to get a cost of living raise. We got bought out by another company. I haven't seen a penny more. And
dude, that sucks.
You do one wrong thing, they remember it all year, and when that time rolls around, they're like, you did this one thing, sorry, you don't get a raise. I'm like, man, stuff's more and more expensive. Food's more expensive now, and gas is more expensive, which right now it's not too bad, but cost of living has gone up. My bills have gone up.
Yeah.
But, like, those are getting worse. I'm getting less and less money. Like, what am I...
we're literally...
Seniority doesn't matter anymore. I mean, I've been there almost 14 years, and I really...
Where you're working.
Yeah, I really got nothing to show for it. It's pretty bad.
Damn, like, what do you do if you don't mind me asking?
I make drugs.
Like, dude, Joel, what's your number again? I want to make sure I got this.
I'm actually not lying. No.
What?
I work for a pharmaceutical company.
Oh, okay.
So technically, I do make drugs. I work in a department where we make lotions and shampoos and mouthwash.
Okay.
So, like, I make Act mouthwash, Gold Bond lotion, Icy Hot cream, Asper cream, that kind of stuff. So, I consider myself a chef. We work a lot of raw materials, put them into a big processor, mix it up, and form that final product. And then we put them into storage containers and then send them downstairs or to another plant to a packaging line, and they'll package them into bottles that will go out to the stores. So, yeah.
That's cool.
It was cool when I first started. Getting a little repetitive now.
It's getting a little repetitive. Yeah. Like, dude, like I said, like I was working at Amazon, and the thing that killed me, like, I don't know if you're not allowed to do this, but like even like I don't deal with customers all day at Amazon. Just let me have an earpiece in, listening to music or listening to an audio book or doing something to just like allow me to grow in information and not just be stuck with my thoughts all day at work. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, are you like, is it more social like where you're working than like somewhere like Amazon?
I mean, we could have anywhere from 10 to just my department's a very small department, manufacturing, which we have different plants, but whatever. But my specific plant, there's only like 10 to 20 of us. Well, there's a lot less of us right now. COVID's affected everything. You get sick, they send you home for 14 days. So we're like running a skeleton crew right now. And like I said, the company is not what it used to be. So people have been quitting a lot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's as far as people talk to, that's about it. You talk to your partner or whatever, whoever's on the floor.
Are you allowed to have earbuds in?
No.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. No jewelry, no electronic devices, that kind of thing. And of course, that's all I mean, you're working with stuff that people's going to be putting on their body. So you kind of almost got to treat it as if it's food grade, as if you're working with food. We have food grade hoses and materials, and we sanitize them and all that too. Which I get it. I understand that. So we just get to listen to mixers all day.
Oh, okay.
And of course, we have to have hearing equipment and like earbuds or whatever to block out the noise. So.
Yeah, actually, at Amazon, I actually snuck it away around it because there was 2 ways I would do it. Because I had wireless earphones, I would either wear a bandana in that
you
day,
could hide them,
and I would just like have it under my thing, or like I had these earbuds that I bought that just look like ear protection. They just look straight up like just like fancy ear protection like you would get. So I would just put those in.
Sneaky.
And then like when people would get complained because I couldn't hear them over my music or my podcast, I'd just be like, what are you trying to say? And they couldn't hear anything. But yeah, I got in trouble a couple times there because they caught me with like earphones in. They're just like, what do you think you're doing? And I'm like, not trying to not be depressed, but
trying to keep sane.
Yeah, trying to keep sane and not talk to myself because that's how I knew a day was bad, when I would just like start having conversations with myself because I was so damn bored, like having fake arguments with myself, and just like just like, no, you're a douche, no, you're a douche, just stuff like that, and people would look at me weird, and I'd be like, yeah, I deserve that weird look, I know.
What do you like? Just put stuff in boxes to package them or something, or?
I was a picker, and the place where I was at, like I started out on foot, and I was on foot for about a week, and then they actually put me on like one of those machines where like you would go in and like it's one of those machines that could hoist you like 60 feet in the air. So like I would go out into the mods, and pretty much like I would just go to different things at like all points in the day, just like going at different heights and stuff like that. And it was just brutal. Like I worked 10-hour shifts.
Yeah.
And it's just brutal being by yourself, and literally the only sound you hear is fans and like the beep of your machine. Yeah, like there were days where like I had to come do the show when I was doing the live show, and I would just be like so all over the place because I literally had not making a sound, not had a thought for like 10 hours, and I would have to wake myself up when I got here. Would
you have the exact same break times every single day? Mm-hmm. See, that's one good thing I like about my department that doesn't make it so bad. Like if you're working in packaging, you just watching bottles go by all day, or stacking the boxes on a pallet. It gets super repetitive because every now and again, if in the past, if we had been slow, we would go downstairs and work on packaging line if there wasn't anything to do, which doesn't happen often now. It's very rare, but man, it gets repetitive and it's a long day and very strict break times. You take them at the exact same time every day. I can see how that would be like. I wouldn't like it, but in my department, your break times are always different. When you're making a batch, you have certain mix times, and say if you got a mix time where it mixes for 30 minutes, you're not doing anything but watching it. So, and there's always 2 people making a batch, so one person will go on break during that time, but it's never at the same time every day. Yeah. And different batches have different mix times. So sometimes you can have a 30-minute mix time. Sometimes you can have a 2.5-hour mix time, and you can be a little lenient on your breaks or take them at different times. Or if you want to, you can clock out and run somewhere and grab food instead of bringing your own lunch. Yeah. So that made it not so bad because it wasn't the same exact time every day. But some days, every now and again, you wouldn't get a break at all. It would depend on the batch you're making. So, which they got a little more strict about that, and they were like, you got to take your breaks, even though they wouldn't actually come and help you take your break. But yeah, I'm not going to get into that.
Oh, no, dude. Like, I was a butcher, when I was in Nashville. Well, I did everything that the other butchers did, but I didn't have the cert. Like, I never got butcher certified because they wouldn't do it, pretty much, because they would have to pay me more. Yeah. And but like one day, like the district manager came in, and it was like literally me and 2 dudes all day because his meat manager and the other meat cutter called out to go hunting. Yeah. And dude knew they called out to go hunting. So it was like literally me, another dude, and some clerks, right? And it was like the entire day. And then he came in there and threatened to fire me and the other meat cutter because we hadn't taken our break yet, and that they could get fined and stuff like that. And it's just like, all right, dude, but if we go to break, you're not going to have product. That's what we're saying. It's just like you should have made your meat manager man-child come in and do his work for today. Oh, dude, I won't say the place over the line, but I hated them. I worked in how familiar are you with Nashville?
Just been through there.
Yeah,
not really done much in there.
I lived in like the rich part of. I lived in Brentwood, and I worked in Brentwood.
Oh, okay.
So, dude, I'm not saying that every rich person's an idiot, but there were a lot of rich people that would come to my shop that were complete fucking idiots. And so, dude, this is like probably, I'll say a 3 times a month question for me. Like, someone will walk up to the thing, they'd be like, yeah, your New York strip, is that beef? And I'm just like, I just want to fucking take you by the head and just... My last couple...
This one isn't beef today.
And, like, I was the only dude...
And you made a flesh suit.
Oh, dude, yeah, that would be great, especially for deep clean nights.
Oh my goodness!
Go straight up. What's that dude from Silence of the Lambs? It puts the lotions on the skin, or else it gets the hose again. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Wait, that wasn't. No, that was
Silence of the Lambs.
No, I thought that was Joe Dirt.
No, that was parroting.
Oh, that was yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I watched Joe Dirt a lot more than the other one, so that's what I remember is the Joe Dirt. Yeah. That's right. I keep forgetting that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't remember.
But yeah, dude, literally, the entire movie is like killing females so he can make himself a female skin to like crawl into. Very weird movie to people out there who hadn't seen it. Sorry I spoiled a movie that came out 25 years ago. But
how dare you? Too soon. Too soon.
Dude, with some of these people that, like, I remember, like, a bit that I'm still working out right now, pretty much. It's just, like, how those fucking people piss me off so bad, the spoiler people. Yeah. Especially with shit that's been out for years. And it's just, like, I always like imagine like it'd be really funny to go into like a church service one day and it'd be like, and the Lord died for our sins, and some dude would be like, yo, I haven't fucking gotten there yet.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
There's something like I'm trying to write out with that, but I'm just like, I gotta be really careful in how I transition to that and what I add into that.
I don't know, they might be more offended by the F word than the saying that in the church might not go over very well.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since I've been on the church scene.
We could be very terrible and just, talk about something recent like The Mandalorian and spoil the first episode of that.
All right, I'm not trying to get Mark's house burned down or anything.
Rioters out there. Yeah.
It's just like, give the people 2 weeks. That's what I say. If something hasn't been out for 2 weeks yet, don't talk about it to people. But if it's been like a year, like if someone were to come up to me and like get mad at me because me and my friends are having just a conversation about Endgame randomly, and they get mad because they hadn't seen Endgame, I'm gonna tell you, go fuck yourself.
Have you been watching The Mandalorian though? Did you watch?
I watched the first episode. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
No such thing as what it is.
It was good.
There's no such thing as an empty Sarlacc pit unless something eats the Sarlacc.
Like, which is not technically a spoiler.
It's just a line.
Yeah. But, I'm very glad they only release an episode at a time though, because I would have binge watched the entire season if the whole season came out.
Oh, dude, I'm almost one of those people. Like, do you watch HBO shows at all?
No, but I kind of wish I had it because Brianna and I were actually in a scene in the Lovecraft Country.
What?
Yeah.
That's like my new favorite show. What scene? I
don't know. They didn't tell me.
Oh my god.
I can describe the scene. Like, I know it was in a bar that was set in maybe France or whatever. It was a bar scene, and I can't remember the actress's name, but it was following her through the whole thing, and me and Brianna were a couple sitting on a bench, and the camera came like right up to us. I cannot remember. They didn't tell me what episode. Usually I try to ask, but the stage, all I know is we filmed on a stage inside of a high school down in Atlanta for this scene, and there were nice prop stairs that went up both directions, and there was a bar in the back. It was in a bar, so I don't know if that helps out. Have you seen all the episodes?
I haven't seen all of them, and like my subscription ran out like recently, but
so I thought about just doing a trial so I could just binge watch the whole thing and try to find us in there, because if I knew what episode, maybe I could like screen record it or something.
Lovecraft Country is so fucking good.
I've seen people talk about it, and people are just going nuts over it because there's so much crap that goes on in it. And by the way, I had no idea it was about what it was about when we filmed it. I saw the trailer for it when the trailer finally came out, and they were like, there was a monster. I'm like, what the heck? I didn't even know the show was about. No,
there are monsters. That's
I know.
Yeah, and
what the heck?
I got to about like episode 5, and pretty much like that episode is like it, like do you know like kind of like the concept? Like it's like mostly like
a little bit
like an African American cast, pretty much, and it's like right after I want to say it's like 53, 54.
Yeah, I think it's set in the 50s. But, but I also heard there's time travel.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, I mean that's just something I read, but I don't know if that spoils anything. But I haven't seen any of it, but I don't know. But I was like, what the heck? And like, then Monsters 2, I'm like, what the heck? And it's like it's even crazier than Stranger Things. Apparently.
It's actually like Lovecraftian monsters and stuff like that. It feels like, because Lovecraft Country, that's like an actual part of like the country pretty much, for like sundown towns and stuff like that. I don't know if you know what a sundown town is.
Well, I mean, it's based on all the H.P. Lovecraft's books and stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, like the monsters and stuff, but like Lovecraft Country, like in the U.S., those are like the more racist parts of the states when stuff like Prohibition like had.
I do know a law that takes place in the storyline of the series as well.
But yeah, they actually like drive through like a sundown county. Do you know what it means when I say sundown?
Let's pretend I don't.
All right, so basically back in the 50s, if me and you say we were African American and we would drive through either a sundown town or a sundown county, and like we were there once the sun went down, it would be the police officer's duty to lynch you.
So it was a curfew, pretty much.
Yeah, like do not be in our town or you're gonna get lynched. And they go heavily into that, like the racial discourse and everything like that. Which it's a great time to make a show like that, but also the show, like sometimes like when shows do this and movies do that, like they try to pander to an audience, it feels very forced and almost like you feel like a little insulted. I don't know, like especially like with the pro-woman things, like the Infinity War and Endgame scene, she's not alone scenes. Those scenes didn't make any sense to me, but also
I still thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool.
An awesome scene.
I thought it was cool, but I was just like, a little bit part of me was, but
almost like maybe they had to make it that way just to cater to. I get that a little bit. Yeah, I still think the scene was cool, but I do feel like some of the movies and the shows that are made, it's almost like they're either told or they feel like they have to do this or they're going to offend somebody or something like that. I don't know. And then some shows, they just don't give a crap. But
dude, Lovecraft Country, it's just like you relate to the characters that like they're not trying to make you relate to and everything like that. Like you can relate to the main character even though he's a black dude in the 50s and everything, because he's very human in the way that he approaches things, and the female too. But the last episode I watched, it was pretty much about the main female sister, and this dude starts talking to her and pretty much like starts giving her potions to where like for a certain amount of hours she can like live her life as a white woman during the 50s.
That's interesting.
And like she like actually like sheds her skin and stuff like when she does that. Like it's very,
but that was also interesting.
It's very graphic, and I won't ruin it for you what she does to somebody doing that. Let's just say that this dude went to a psychiatric ward and like never left the psychiatric ward after she was done with him. But yeah, like it follows stuff like that, and then like you'll have like those zombie creatures from like Lovecraft, where they're like the moles, and if they bite a human, they'll turn into one of them. They have those. I'm not well versed in Lovecraftian like lore and stuff like that, but everything they've done so far, it's been fucking fantastic. That show is really good. Anyone who hasn't watched Lovecraft Country yet, watch that.
I think there's either a character or the actress's name is something Ingenue. I can't remember if it's a character or the actress's actual name. I want to say she was the woman that the camera followed in the scene that we were in.
Okay. White or black?
It's a black lady, but I can't remember. And she didn't have dialogue, but she was going through, taking a drink from some of the waitresses in there, and then they had me with an herbal cigarette or whatever, and she took that from my hand and took a puff of it and handed it back. And me and Brianna were like right there in the camera, so I'm hoping you can actually see us. We're not like blurred out. Or you can recognize us, so that would be cool footage to have. And
dude, I want instance of like my eyes when I just realized that you guys are in Lovecraft country. Like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was in a suit and my hair looks wet. They when we were doing the makeup, they had a bunch of mirrors all lined up down a row, a bunch of sections or whatever, and they would call people up to do makeup or whatever. So I got fitted for a suit, got the suit, and after the guy that was doing my hair, he had this huge jar of gel, and he took the comb and just stuck the whole comb and brought this big old glob of gel just on my hair. I was like, like there was so much gel in my hair. It's not a hair was out of place. Just my hair looked sopping wet, like that 40s or 50s style. Yeah. Like just, it felt gross because it's like dripping off of me. He had to like wipe it off my neck. It was so much. I was like, you're about to go. Gel.
Looked like you were about to go beat up the jocks because you were a greaser.
It was a greaser. It was greasy, all right. It felt like it. It was cold. I was like, ooh. But like that was the one thing I remember too, was that cold greasy gel just slopping it on my hair. But yeah, definitely slicked back. But yeah, that was funny. So
how was work?
You see the slick hair.
How long were you on the set of Lovecraft Country, and how was that?
We only did one day of it, filming, and that was one of the first things Brandon and I did. That was one of the first background things I did too last year, and I want to say it was around spring, summertime or whatever. So we just did the one day, and I think we were only on set for maybe like 8 to 10 hours or something like that. Mm-hmm. Pretty decent pay, I guess.
Did you talk to any other cast or anything like that?
No, I mean, I didn't really recognize anyone. Even the lady that was on there, I didn't really recognize her until later. I was looking up the cast of Lovecraft because I don't know what else she's done. I do remember one actress, though. I still have no idea who she is. Is some white girl, a little younger than me. They were having all the extras come outside to take photos. A lot of background actors and actresses, if they bring you back, they want to dress you and make you look the part like you did before, just in case they got to reshoot a scene. Yeah. Continuity is very important. Yeah. Once you look exactly the same. So most of the time, they're always taking photos. They'll have you, like they had us all lined up, like everybody in the bar scene come out here, we all lined up shoulder to shoulder, and they took a few photos and then had us turn around and take more photos, to make sure the makeup, the hair, and the wardrobe is exactly the same for that same person. Yeah. And so they were having us all come outside where the crafty table was, where they got the snacks and stuff, and there was one actress coming through, and one of the PAs, I guess, didn't know who she was, and was like, come this way, we're going over here for photos. And this actress was like, I am not an extra. Like almost like she didn't snap her finger, but it was almost like that kind of thing. Yeah. Got angry at that person, like, I'm no extra, and then like stormed off over to the snack table, and I was just like, oh shit. Well, my first response was, you're not gonna get very far doing that. Like, that's no way to. I don't care who you are or what role you've got. Yeah. Which, by the way, I still don't know who this actress is, and I haven't seen her in the cast list yet either. I can't remember what she looked like. All I know is she was some girl. I can't remember if she's blonde or brunette, but anyway, I have a terrible memory, by the way.
Oh yeah, me too.
I always say call me Dory because I got short-term memory loss. But anyway, she just that attitude, I remembered that, and I was like, I don't think you're not gonna go very far treating people like that. And like, that's so mean. Why would you even react that way? And I was like, I wonder who she is. Like, she's the main person in the scene. We got out there, and she was just some girl standing over by the bar. Didn't have one line of dialogue the whole time we were up there. And I'm like, you know what important.
You're an extra.
Like you must have an agent, and maybe you got this. Yeah. Or, I don't know. Maybe she had another scene with a line. I don't know. But I'm just like, you're not important in this scene. Like why you act like you are? Like they're way nicer A-list famous actors than you are, surely. So I don't know. But that's the one thing I remember is her being so rude to that person.
Have you met any A-listers?
I got to meet Luke Wilson. The very, very first thing I ever got to do, I got to be on the set of Stargirl. when they first started filming. I got to be the Crimson Avenger. So in one episode, they show a photo of the not the Justice Society of America, but the ones before them in the comic books, the Seven Soldiers of Victory. Okay. And the Crimson Avenger was one of the Seven Soldiers of Victory or whatever. And you can actually see me in the top left-hand corner on the episode when when Luke pulls out a photo and he says, "There's a Crimson Avenger," or whatever. He's showing what's her face that plays Stargirl. Yeah. And so he did the photo with us, and super nice guy, like one of the nicest people I've ever met. It was a little warm in the warehouse. He was like, "Y'all got water? Can you get these people some water?" Like, he was making sure we had water and everything, and shaking hands with everybody. Real nice guy. So I got to meet Luke Wilson on Stargirl, and then I got to be a paramedic on a movie called Freaky Friday, and I got to meet Vince Vaughn. I actually got to chat with Vince Vaughn.
You're in the movie Freaky Friday.
Yeah, I'm a paramedic on Freaky Friday. Yeah, the new one that's coming out. The trailer. Have you seen the trailer that just came out?
Oh, okay. I thought you were like talking about like the Freaky Friday. Okay. I was about my time. My head was about to do this shit. Like,
I want to say this was called Freaky Friday. It might be slightly different name, but basically the storyline is. It stars Vince Vaughn and I forget the girl's name, but they switch bodies or whatever, and he goes on a killing spree as the girl in high school.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the trailer just came out maybe last month or something, but so I got to meet Vince Vaughn and chat with him because while we were waiting on the scene, it was raining that night a lot too. The warehouse we were in was like flooding. They were having to move equipment and everything, which is always a struggle when you're on set too. This was an old warehouse. It was crazy, all the flooding that was everywhere. They were having to squeegee stuff out just keep them getting on the electrical equipment. But me and this other guy got to be picked to be paramedics. The other guy was an actual paramedic, so he was teaching me how to work the gurney and everything, and we were having problems with it because it was cold. The gurney was hydraulic, right? Okay. You press a switch, it goes up. You push it down then up real quick. Well, what happens to hydraulic stuff when it gets cold?
It shrinks, I'm guessing.
It doesn't shrink. It just gets tougher to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It gets thicker. The fluid that's in there gets a little thicker when it's cold.
Okay.
Which I think it was what it was. I'm not entirely certain. But either way, the colder it got, the harder it was to pull up on that gurney. See, he was on the front holding the front end, and he would release the switch or press the switch. I was the one lifting the wheels and legs up. Well, it got harder and harder to do that. And Vince Vaughn's stand-in, his body double, we practiced several times with him, and that was fine. Which, by the way, his double was maybe about 6'1", maybe about your height, and skinny. He fit on the gurney, on the gurney that was on there. Really, I don't think this is really giving anything away with the movie. It might be, I don't know. But when Vince finally came out, his feet and his head was hanging off the side of the gurney. He's a lot taller than his stand-in double. It was very hard to lift him up into the. I'm not saying he's heavy. He was just bigger than his stand-in.
He's a big guy. Yeah.
And the hydraulics, it was just so hard. It took us a couple takes. The director was getting a little impatient with us. And before we started too, he came over there and talked to us. He was like, "Don't drop my actor." Like, I was terrified. I was like, oh my gosh, what if we flip Vince over? Like, am I going to get sued? Like, am I never going to be able to act again? Like, I was terrified.
Like,
Like, I was, and there was one point where I was trying so hard to lift it up as fast as I could. It tipped just a little bit, and we were like, oh my gosh. And Vince winced a little bit too, and I was like, oh my, please don't let me drop him. Like, I'm never going to get a gig ever again in my entire life.
Please just don't let me drop Vince right now.
Vince also, super nice guy. He was chatting up with us and everything while he was just laying there waiting, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to say. That one girl that once said,
there's no need to be like that.
Yeah. Why be like that? When I've met A-listers that are, they're so nice and everything, and they're real nice to everybody. But I would love to meet more people too. The only other person, well, let's see, I didn't meet him, but I saw him, was Norman Reedus. I got to be in Zombie on The Walking Dead, and I got to be up front, and you can barely see out of there. They give you masks that they buy from California, really awesome masks, and basically they have the eyeballs, but they have these little slits, on the top of them, right underneath the eyebrow. So when the camera's on them, you can't see these slits, but that's what you see through. But you can't see very well. And I remember I got in trouble because they got on to me for not walking right. They said, because I looked down once because I tripped over a rock this big, bigger than the size of my fist, and I about fell. So I looked down as I tripped over this rock. And after that one take, the director come up to me and he was like, yeah, you need to look forward and kind of, move this way. He was like, the zombies don't look down. That's not how they act or whatever. I was like, sorry about that. There's this huge rock that I tripped over or whatever. He was like, that's fine. Just do, make sure you do this next time. So I went over there and took that rock and chunked it in the woods because I was mad at the rock. Man, out of all these people out here, they singled me out. And I was like, I felt terrible for messing up that one. But thankfully they didn't do that take anyway. By the way, I watched that episode that I was in, and you can't tell who anybody is, at all. I was like, because I remember what I was wearing and what mask I had, and I was like, everything was so blurry. I'm like, there's no way to even
I was
tell.
actually supposed to do that once. I was supposed to be a zombie for Walking Dead because one of my mom's friends does extra work, and they were like, yeah, she was just her and the kids were gonna go down and be zombies one day. They know that you like the show.
It's fun.
And I was like, I can't get off work, but I want to do that so bad.
I did. This one was an all-night shoot. My call time was 6 p.m. and I think when we wrapped, the sun was coming up.
Oof.
So, but
all-nighter.
But we got paid time and a half for those extra few hours. After either the 8th or 10th hour, it was time and a half. I got decent pay for that. The only thing was from up here in Chattanooga down to Sonoya, Georgia. It's a bit of a drive. It's 3.5 hour drive, I think. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. I always try to.
Also, driving to Sonoya, it's not that fun of a drive.
No, not really. No, I mean you can take the highway that goes around Atlanta, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that boring of a drive. It was just a little bit longer. I always try to plan. I did. The pay versus the travel time and what you spend in gas, is it really worth it? And I did that because I wanted to at least say I did it. Yeah. I usually try not to do, when I used to do extra work, I didn't want to do anything when I was in big groups because I wanted to be seen. Yeah. So anything that required big groups or party scenes or even the zombie stuff, I don't do because I want to be seen. I want to be the only person in the scene, that kind of thing. Yeah. But I did it because I could say, "Hey, I was a zombie in Walking Dead." Yeah, just to say I did it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and not to say anything bad about them, but that was actually the worst food I ever had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it, but all the extra stuff, they feed you really nice food.
Oh, really?
Lovecraft Country was the best, actually. Lovecraft Country, we had steaks and grilled chicken and salad, all kinds of different salads, and the desserts were amazing. The food they catered for that was awesome. They had hot dogs at the Walking Dead one, I think, and they were horrible. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about them, but I was like, man, that's the worst food I've ever had. But I think they did it because of such a large group.
Yeah, hot dogs are easier.
The funding they had, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd never done anything with a group that big. That's probably why the food was so bad. It's the smaller group stuff, they probably have better food. Yeah. But the coolest thing about The Walking Dead, though, the huge tent that we were in, they had all of us sitting at tables. And we had to keep up with our masks and everything. And they're really strict about cell phone usage too. They catch you taking a picture, you're kicked out. Yeah. They're really strict about that. And you sign a contract too. And they're like, we can sue you if you post this on social media, basically. Yeah. So I made sure not to post anything about what I was doing. I was saying something about, I was very vague. I was excited that I got to be on it. So I was like, I got to be a certain undead person on a popular TV show. So I didn't say what it was, but that was pretty much how I said it or whatever. But everybody knew, but not enough to where I get sued or something, hopefully. But anyways, I don't know. I don't really know. But, and I got to see the hilltop. That's the set that we were on out in the woods. It looks nothing like it does on TV. It looked completely different, but it was cool to see that. But when I saw Norman Reedus, I didn't even know he was there. I didn't know he was there in the scene. And we're walking up to the thing, and there's a fence with spikes out, and we're just sitting there, and they're cut, so we're just leaning against the fence. All of a sudden, I see Norman walk by, and I'm like, that's freaking Norman Reedus. I didn't know he was here. That's amazing. Yeah. And I was like, I didn't actually get to meet him, but it was cool to see him 10 feet from me.
My favorite thing that Norman Reedus has ever did, he literally shows up. It's some romantic comedy movie. I was watching it with some chick that I was trying to date at some point. and like we're watching it, and he shows up, and he's just like he plays like a truck driver who may or may not be, like, it doesn't even say in the movie, but it's just like he may or may not be a pedophile, because they're just like making jokes.
What movie was this?
It was like some romantic comedy that like had like a dude.
I've seen it.
It had a dude and his wife and a kid. And at one point, they're in a restaurant. They're making fun of Norman Reedus' character because he's trucker. And they're talking about how like most trucker are pedophiles, which I had never heard that until watching that movie. But and apparently, like he like has like all these like, and when you look at his truck, like he has like all these kid toys and stuff up there. Oh my goodness! And one of their daughters, like the daughter or something, like drops like the toy that they're at a restaurant. So Norman Reedus like literally follows them, like he grabs a toy and sees that they're driving off, and literally just gets in his 18-wheelers, like follows them for like miles and miles and miles in the movie. He's just like, dude, he's gonna kill us. He's gonna kill us. And like he was just like, hey, your kid dropped this. And like they looked up and he was like, oh, nice toys in the truck. You got any kids? I ain't got no kids. And like just walks back to the truck. And I was just like, I love this man, just because you just have to imagine how that phone conversation went with his manager. Just like, yeah, we really want Norman Reedus to be in this movie for all of like maybe 15 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Imagine being the people though. They're like terrified. Then they're like, oh, he brought the toy back. And then he says that. And then you're like, oh, I'm terrified again.
Yeah, I'm terrified again.
Okay, you can go back to your... Okay, we're gone.
Yeah, I've also heard Norman Reedus is a really cool guy in real life. I know you said you didn't get to talk to him or anything.
Yeah, I think I've heard that too.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that too. Which didn't he open a restaurant up here in Chattanooga? Nick and Norman's, isn't that his restaurant?
I think so.
It opened up at the Choo Choo.
Yeah. I don't want to be quoted on that, but I'm pretty sure that that's his restaurant.
I remember hearing about it, and I think that was his. He brought it up here. I think he opened one in Sonoya down there where they filmed The Walking Dead, and then I think he opened one up here too, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which I heard that they were going to open up a restaurant from oh my gosh, what's the guy's name? My brain stop working right now. It's getting later, I guess. Off of that 70s show, Ashton Kutcher,
yeah.
Yeah, his restaurant's called Ketchup, I think. I don't know if he ever opened any, but I heard he was opening up a restaurant chain called, and the name of it's called Ketchup. And I could have sworn he was going to have one open in Chattanooga, but I don't think, I may be wrong about that.
Huh.
Or maybe nearby. I can't remember. But
I know they opened up Blaze's Pizza in Nashville one time when I was living in Nashville, and that was so... Have you ever been to Blaze's Pizza?
No.
Like, it's like kind of like a Subway type deal where, like, you know, you go in and you like put your own cheeses on, like your meats and veggies, and they like put it in a brick oven for you.
They've got those here too. Where you do the same thing. It's like a Subway. You're going to pick your own thing. They've got one in Fort O, and they got one up near Hamilton Place.
They have one in Fort O. Where's it in Fort O?
Next to that new area where... what's the new supermarket up there, almost past the first hill?
Walmart?
It's up past Walmart on the left. Is it Publix? The new Publix?
Oh, yeah, the new Publix.
New Publix and Great Clips. There's one on the end. It's called something pie. What is it called? Oh, I forget the name of it.
But, yeah, and I remember that being so good. I remember... If you ever are in Nashville and you're there between the hours of 12:30 and 2:30, go to a place called Gabby's. That to me is like the best hamburger that I've ever had from just like a burger joint.
Yeah,
like that was literally me and my roommate's favorite place to go. Like my roommate at the time, that was our favorite place to go. Like whenever it's like, hey man, we'll grab something to eat. Gabby's, you know.
It's called Your Pie.
Your Pie. Okay. Your Pie,
yeah. Okay. It's the same thing. You go in, you pick your crust, your cheese, your sauce, and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good too.
Oh, dude, it's great. And also, like, they just opened up Del Taco in Fort O. Like, that's been my new addiction.
The place is still packed.
Yeah. I just love the fact that I can get fries with my burritos and stuff like that. I always thought it was a little cheap. The Taco Bell just never had anything but just like Doritos.
Didn't they do cheese fries there for a little while?
A little bit, and the world went crazy with it.
Then they got rid of it. Why do you do that, Taco Bell? They always come out with something good, then get rid of it. It's like they do that.
Like they had these chicken burritos, and like they had them for like the longest time because that's I would eat from Taco Bell when I was a child was like these chicken burritos. They weren't even like big or anything. They just had chicken, rice, and cheese, and that's what I wanted. So, but they got rid of those after a while. And I'm just like, you sons of bitches! You literally took away the only thing on the menu that I like.
Was it Frito burritos they had for a while and they took away?
Oh yeah, dude, Frito burritos.
I love those, and then they just got rid of them completely. I think, I remember when they come out with stuff, it'd be super cheap, and then they up the price like $2. And you're like, man, it's not cheap anymore.
Oh, dude, McDonald's pissed me off in the last year because like I don't even eat at McDonald's like that much anymore. But whenever I ate there, I always got the buttermilk chicken fingers, and they're not on the menu anymore because something to do with Corona, like did something with their supply or something like that. But yeah, they limited to like half of the menu that was at McDonald's is no longer at McDonald's.
Not surprising.
Yeah,
it's like everywhere.
It's just like, I just want my buttermilk chicken tendies, please. Just bring those back and I'll be happy.
Oh, Chick-fil-A nuggets with buffalo sauce.
Oh, dude. Every time one of my friends just like, oh, you bought from Chick-fil-A? That's gross. I'm just like, look, I feel like a shitty person, but their chicken's good. All right, their chicken's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a hankering just for...
if you want good chicken wings that's very reasonably priced... Heavenly Flavored Wings on Brainerd Road.
Heavenly Flavored Wings. I've actually been thinking about giving that place a try.
They are really good. I just get the medium, and like they're not even that hot, but like the flavor is crazy. Like I want to buy just a bottle of that sauce. Like I just get the the boneless.
I'm a hot sauce guy. Like I like food like really hot. Like I'm the guy that when I go to a Thai restaurant and they're like, "What level do you want your spice?" I say 10. Like unless I don't know if I'm going to be home within the next 30 minutes, you know,
or you're going to stay there near the bathroom.
I'm just going to stay there, like, order a couple of drinks at the bar, just like, oh.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so it's getting pretty late. Don't you have to work tomorrow?
I just had that back surgery. I'm off work.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did need to talk about that, but yeah.
It hasn't even been. Yeah,
that's the reason I'm not drinking tonight. That's right.
I had sciatica real bad. Started probably about 2 or 3 years ago.
For everyone that would listen to this, what is sciatica? You've already told me, but this is for the listeners.
Basically, it's when the cartilage between, you've got your spine and you've got the bones of your spine, you've got that little piece of cartilage / fatty material, squishy stuff. Looks like, it's tougher than Jell-O, but basically cartilage with squishy stuff on the outside. Those are the discs between all of your spine, all the bones in your spine or whatever. Well, I either pulled something, or when I lifted, or it just grew out or whatever, part of that jelly around the outer edge of those discs protruded out and pinched nerve endings on my left side. So it come out just a little tiny bit and pinched those nerve endings, and it shot pain, which it started at the bottom of the left side of my back, but the pain shot all the way through my leg down to my ankle. That's where the main pain was, even though it started up there. So pinching those nerve endings, those are the ones that went all the way down to my foot. And some days it would just be excruciating pain. And the only thing I could do with it was take anti-inflammatories, which would make the inflammation go down, but just a tiny bit, and stretch. That's all I could do for it. Yeah. For the longest time, I went to different doctors, and they'd give me x-rays. Well, x-rays won't show that jelly poking out. Yeah. Eventually, I went to a doctor that Brianna recommended, thank goodness. She has a really good doctor. And she was like, let's get an MRI. And I'm like, thank you so much, because no one would give me an MRI. So finally got an MRI of just, the midsection there. And sure enough, where that jelly was, it came out. And like one side had like this much space that was normal. And the other side, it was like no space at all. You could see where it was like, squishing those nerves or whatever. And I was like, yep, that's what's doing it. So they went in. It's a very non-invasive surgery. Everyone says you shouldn't have back surgery when you're so young because it can affect you the rest of your life. But the one that you're supposed to be warned about is the one where they like fuse bones together when you don't have any of that cartilage left. Those are the surgeries that have a high risk that could hurt you the rest of your life. I didn't have that. What they did was they made a slit about inch and a half. Like I said, very non-invasive. They went out, cut that extra jelly, and sucked it out through a straw, and basically that freed up some space where it wasn't pinching the nerves anymore. And I walked out of there the same day. I went in at 5 a.m. and I was out of there by 1 or 2 or whatever. Yeah,
you were at vendor day, and that was like 3 or 4 days after your surgery.
Yeah, I had on Thursday, and then vendor day was that Sunday. So, yeah, I was a little wobbly walking around, and it had a little bit of pain. But I mean, like that day, I walked out of there, and I didn't even take my pain medication.
Yeah, I could see
for like a few days.
I could like visibly see your frustration when you were at vendor day because like nobody would let you do shit.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to help, but I was also afraid because they were like, "Don't lift over 20 pounds." I was like, "The last thing I want to do is lift and like pull something." And like that would
like literally like I saw people like taking away just like things that were just like a couple ounces, just like no.
And man, I know I felt helpless. But...
Oh no, dude, it was great. It was great having you guys. It was great that we got to do that. Yeah, I think we were all just hankering just to do something in the public eye.
Well, I think the highlight for me was proposing to Brianna as Prince Eric.
Oh yeah.
I think everybody else enjoyed that too.
Oh. See,
did you get to watch that?
I did not get to watch that.
Oh, okay.
But I already knew about it, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, it was something we planned to do we did it. We did it in character.
Okay.
So she already knew about it, but for the viewers to put on the show,
great. That was great.
I think all the people that came really enjoyed that.
I did not get to see that, but I bet that was really adorable. Yeah. I remember looking over at you guys sometimes, be like, "Aw, aw."
But I went and got in costume. I dressed up as Prince Eric, and she was Ariel. So we went up at the cosplay contest as participants, but not really.
Yeah, because that's what you guys came as at the movie event, right?
Yeah.
Like, you were Prince Eric and she was Ariel.
I think one of them. One night.
I'm talking about the one where it was just me and you. It was around last December that we did it. I want to say it was she was Elsa.
Yeah, she was Elsa, and I got into the Olaf costume a few times.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
And then one of the other events, I think I came as Nightwing.
Yeah, that was. I was there for that one too.
I don't know if I did Eric for one of the movie events. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I don't think you did Eric. I think I was just confusing. Brianna like being Elsa.
It feels like it's been so long because
the kids were going. All the kids. That was like a war zone. I don't know if you remember, like, especially for like the early showings, like the kids like wanting to get their picture with Brianna when she was Elsa.
Yeah. I mean, they loved it though.
Yeah,
and Olaf, they loved Olaf.
Oh, dude, I loved it, and I was just like, yeah, I ran this shit, And that's been really fun, and dude, I do want to do theater events, but I just want to see a movie in a fucking theater. When was the last movie you saw in theaters?
I don't even know. I mean, even Tatooine, we used to do events at the same theater, and that was back before they got bought out by AMC when it used to be called the Rave. Yeah, and back then
I worked for the Rave when it was the Rave.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Well, if you remember us being there, we would dress up in costume for the movies to come out. Like if Superman or Batman came out, we would do DC costumes or whatever.
You totally saw me at one point then, and we just
might have.
Yeah.
If Star Wars movie came out, we came in all with lightsabers blazing, and then we had Darth Vader and R2 and all that.
I worked there for a couple months, and like the craziest weekend that we had is when Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out.
Oh,
Harry
really?
Potter. Yeah.
Oh, Harry Potter. Yeah. I bet.
Yeah. That was like the last Harry Potter movie. That weekend was fucking nuts, my dude.
People have been waiting for that for forever. So,
but weirdly enough, did not have to kick any people out before fornicating in that movie. It was other movies. I shit you not. Opening weekend of Cars 2, I had to kick 2 people out for fucking during the movie.
Oh my goodness.
And with like kids around and shit like that. And the reason why I had to do it was because I was the only male on staff.
Oh my goodness. And
I'm just like, awkward. I hear that too, and I'm like, what the hell is happening?
I don't know what that is. It's not on your phone, is it? It's not someone's talking. Is Chucky's bride hiding back there?
Oh, dude, if I get knife murdered, you know what happens.
No, I'm running.
I mean, yeah, no, please.
No, you're bait. I'm going to leave you behind.
This is freaking me out.
What is that?
I don't know.
What is it saying?
I think it's saying, now that I'm closer to it, I think it's saying, please change battery.
Oh, goodness.
It's got to be these walkie-talkies over here. That's what it's got.
Oh, I hear it now, battery.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That's some
just
sort of
like, Jesus.
crazy murder doll.
Dude, like, weird shit has happened up here before. Like, you know, like, one time when Lee, the guy who used to help Mark run it, was still a part of us before he had to step down.
Yeah.
We were up here just, like, watching. We were actually watching Scream, because I had never seen Scream before that night.
Man.
And so, we're like sitting here and we're just like watching this movie, and all of a sudden we both just like look toward that door, and a red balloon just like floats up and just comes into the room. And I'm just like, you two are fucking with me, right? Like, I don't know how you did that. That was really cool, but
Oh, you could have been watching it. That would have been hilarious.
Dude, I actually have a thing with it. My when I was 2 years old, I watched the original It with my mom. And every time that I would start acting up in public, she would tell me to straighten up or the clown was going to come get me. And it worked like a goddamn charm. To this day, really can't be around clowns. Like,
my oldest daughter, not a fan of clowns, so obviously I torture her every time I see one. Not too excessively, but still I'm like, hey, look over there. And she's like, ah!
Yeah. Oh, dude, my family are straight up pricks about it. Like, to this day, I'm still scared of clowns, and it's mostly just because like my family won't let me get over it. No, like, they really just like won't. Like, whenever I go visit my uncles, like sometime like my uncles to like wake me up, like where I sleep at their house, it's like right next to a window, so like my head is like pretty much like right here, the window's like right here, and they'll just be in both being clown makeup, and they'll just be outside the window for. One time my mom was just like, dude, they've been out there waiting for hours for you to wake up. Like, this is getting a little ridiculous. And I'm like, dude, their patience knows no bounds, and they're being assholes.
That's
like, it's
hilarious.
Beautiful. Also, he was the one uncle, like, I nearly had to go to the hospital because Carolina Reapers weren't around yet, but it was like a pepper that made the Carolina Reaper, but like my uncle was growing those, and I'm from Louisiana and Arkansas, so like your uncle's favorite game playing with you is like, hey, eat this, and I'll just hand you random pepper.
Oh man. And
I stuck half it in my mouth, and I was just like, and I took it, and like the heat, after the heat was done, like I was like, oh, that's funny. I couldn't taste shit for 3 days. Everything I drank tasted like water. Everything I ate tasted like cardboard. Like, it didn't matter what it was, like, either. Like, chocolate cake, cardboard.
Probably literally burned your taste buds.
Yeah, and so, like, finally, 4th day, like, I started getting a little bit back, but my mom was so fucking angry at my uncle's.
Which one is stronger? Is it the ghost pepper or the Reaper?
I'm pretty sure the Reaper is because it was the ghost pepper was the hottest.
It must be right behind it then.
Yeah.
When Ghost Peppers came out at work a couple years back or whenever, somebody had gone to Hawaii on a trip and brought them back with them because like that's where they were mostly at the time. Yeah. So he brought them back and everybody decided to do this Ghost Pepper thing. Where like they cut off a sliver and they're like, you got to chew it for 30 seconds, and then if you want to spit it out or swallow it or whatever, it didn't matter if you spit it out. If you swallowed your saliva that was in your mouth, it would burn all the way down. It didn't have to be that sliver of pepper. You could spit it out, but as soon as you swallowed the saliva that's in your mouth, you could feel it all the way down. And then 2 hours in the bathroom, you could feel it coming all the way down.
Yeah, like you're on fire on both ends. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it was bad. There was one kid that was working with us at the time. He's not there anymore, but he was like choking on it, and he was spitting in the sink. He got apparently a big sliver of it and chewed it. He was spitting in the sink, and we had a stainless steel sink, and it like stained the side of the sink. It was bad. I was like, holy crap, that's crazy.
This is not meant for human consumption.
We were like eating cups of ice. Like, you just had to constantly eat cups of ice. It was so bad. We didn't have milk in there or anything. It was
dude,
so
like
bad.
I totally remember, like, there have been twice in my life where I've been smacked and completely fucking deserved it. One was when I was in 8th grade and we fucking went to Six Flags at the end of the DC trip that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
We went to Six Flags Over America at the end of it, and like it was like 60. It was chilly in DC that day, and especially for a bunch of Georgia kids.
I bet,
and everything. And so this I went on one of the water rides just to be a jackass and just like walk around cold and be like, yeah, look at me, you know. And this chick wearing a white tank top and no bra came up to me and it's like, hey, is it cold? And I'm like, not at all.
Oh my goodness.
And she got off, and I deserve that smack, but also I did not take back my actions.
Oh my goodness.
Especially, 14-year-old Justin does not take back his actions at all. But yeah, that was one, and one was I handed a date that I was on one time. I didn't know at the time. I just thought it was something, but I thought it was like a piece of chocolate covered bacon because like the person had like this weird vendor thing set up, and it was like a chocolate covered of like one of the slivers of ghost chili pepper.
Oh.
Let's just say that date didn't go too well for Justin at all. We still dated, but that was not a good first moment for Justin. Man. Oh yeah, that chick was also the one, like, I don't know shit about country music. I know Jack Diddley shit when it comes to country music, especially like modern day country music. And when Alan Jackson came to Riverbend, like almost 10 years ago at this point, like I can't believe I'm saying this one over air, but like I had no idea who Alan Jackson was, and so like, you know, like I was trying to make a good impression on Chick's family for like them to like me and everything like that and seem cool and seem like I was into like what they're into. They were like, yeah dude, you excited to see Alan, you ready to see Alan Jackson live? And I shit you not, with all the confidence in the world, like I was completely right in my statement. I was like, yeah, Alan Jackson was my favorite member of the Jackson 5.
Oh my god. So confident. Oh my gosh.
But yeah,
I can just imagine the looks on their faces, like
they all seriously went from like,
have you been in a cave your whole life? I am not a huge country fan. Like, it's my I like a lot of genres of music, and that's like my least favorite. I have to be in a certain mood to listen to country, but even I know who Alan Jackson is.
Yes. Yeah, it turns out I knew who he was too.
Oh man.
But oh dude, that was like the most embarrassed I've actually ever been on a date. Well, that and like funny. When I was in Chicago, like I wear scarves more now just because I like scarves pretty much. But I was like, they were like, my ex and her family were like literally like watching me for like 10 minutes because I was like looking at myself in the window and just being like, like, how do you do this? Like, I was just like, I don't know, this looks natural. And I looked at her and my ex was just like, I swear to God, if you ask me how to put on a scarf, I'm gonna smack you in front of my family. And I'm just like, okay, just we're done.
Do it with style.
Yeah,
like a bandana going on. Is this right?
Yeah, you know, just put it on like the Karate Kid. Dude, speaking of, have you seen Cobra Kai? Have you watched Cobra Kai at all?
I have not. They actually filmed that in Atlanta too, I think, and I've seen a couple of casting calls for it, but it's just like background stuff, so I didn't really apply for it. I've seen like snippets of stuff, which it used to be a YouTube premium only thing, and I think they put it on Netflix, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't. I think it's on there. I just haven't watched any of it yet.
Oh, dude, I'm like, especially now when like I just don't have places to go and stuff like that, like I'll just like watch random television. I've actually never seen Karate Kid. I know.
Oh, man.
I know.
Terrible.
So, like, I just started watching Cobra Kai because I was curious, and I was just like, man, I really need to watch Karate Kid so I understand more of what's happening in this show. Because, you know, it follows, like, the bad guy, the bad kid from, like, the first Karate Kid movie.
Yep.
That's who it follows in Cobra Kai.
Which, yeah, you know, if you were getting ratings on this right now, they're probably just dropping more and more. Yeah, first Alan Jackson, then you haven't seen the Karate Kid. People just like, yep, click.
It's just like, this kid's a fucking idiot.
Terrible, the comment section.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. Like, I can't wait till people actually. I'm actually looking forward to that. Like, to the people who are just gonna hate me and hate what I have to say. Because, like, we've kept it pretty nonchalant. But me and Dustin were on here. We actually talked about religion, politics, and all that stuff the other day. And I'm just like, when like that one comes out,
the Kermit the Frog thing, which is like, what'd you say to me, little bitch? I love you. Oh man.
Well, was it that thing where, like, it was like that meme from 4chan, but, like, they did it with, like, the Kermit, and it's just like, what'd you say about me, you little bitch? I have you know that I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Always keyboard warriors.
Yeah. Like, God. Like, dude, there's so many things out there, especially that I'm into right now. Like, I just ran out of Xbox Live time, which is great because I was playing way too much Overwatch. Like, an unhealthy amount of Overwatch.
I've had Xbox Live in years. I used to have Xbox, then I went to PlayStation because all my coworkers had it. And
I'm going PlayStation next one. I'm tired of missing out on cool games just because I don't have a PlayStation.
I used to be a huge Halo junkie. Like,
oh, yeah.
I played the heck out of some Halo. I even had Halo 2 for PC. Back when I used to play PC games, my computer sucked. It was terrible. I never had a good enough computer to play games on. Even Minecraft would crash on me. Like, that's how bad my graphics card was. But
you'll enjoy that one then.
Oh gosh!
Do you remember those fucking levels, man?
Then he's having flashbacks with all the
dude.
PTSD stuff.
Oh my god, dude, those fucking levels were the worst. Like, especially on legendary mode, like, you and your buddies would be up until like,
and the levels in the dark, and you're not seeing them until they're right up on you. The what are those creatures called? I forget. The tiny ones you can't freaking shoot. They're just spores, or no, they were something else. I can't remember what they were called. Man, it's been a minute.
It's been a fucking minute since I've done anything Halo.
I played Halo 2 on PC, and later on I found out that everyone hated that, but I was really good at it. Maybe that's why, because nobody played it.
Yeah.
There was no real competition.
Oh, yeah.
But I was really good online multiplayer for that, and I loved playing PvP with nothing but rockets. It was so much fun playing rockets.
Swords? You remember the sword
Just
battles?
swords only? Oh my gosh. It's like, how did you launch from halfway across the map? You know, if you got just close enough, you hit the button and you launch forward, and
yeah,
you weren't even close enough. It's like it's almost like their graphics were better. Like yours got delayed and somehow you're dead. And it's like, did you teleport?
Oh, dude,
so bad.
I was actually friends with someone who in 8th grade who actually wound up moving because he became pro and he had to move somewhere with faster internet speed. This was like back when I was in the
nice.
It was like back when again, the 8th grade. I met a lot of people and did a lot of things my 8th grade year. Then high school was just bullshit. But high school was just like my high school experience. Pretty much like the way I try to explain it to people, I was like, it was like a bad version of like Varsity Blues. You know, it's like we had a couple of cool coaches on the football team, but other than that, not really. Like, found out that the reason like why I was like getting beat by everyone else on my football team was pretty much because they were all on roids and I was not.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I had a coach I had an AutoCAD. I took AutoCAD and the teacher, I was the only one in AutoCAD 3, but I was in an AutoCAD 1 class. I was literally the only student that was on AutoCAD 3 but I didn't learn anything because he would literally do like one assignment a week just to get a grade. He wasn't there to be an AutoCAD teacher. He was there to be a softball coach. He was the girls' softball head coach. That's what he was really there for, and they just required him to teach a class. But
oh yeah, dude, those classes were the worst.
What's terrible is half the time people would be napping or watching Jerry Springer on TV before lunch. Like, that's how bad the class was. But he eventually got fired for selling mod chips for the PlayStation to students. Like back when PS1 came out, it had a little port on the back. You could pop the back off. This is the first version that came out. Later on, they had a smaller version. It didn't have the port on there. But that port, you had a little chip you could insert, and you could play burned games. People would burn them on a DVD burner, and you could play burned games on there. It would program it to do so.
Oh, wow.
So he was selling those mod chips to students. The staff found out about it, and he got fired for
That's hilarious. That is hysterical.
This was after I was out of his class, but I was like,
oh, my
wow.
God. I don't want to say the things that
cool guy, but apparently he was.
I don't want to say some of the things that some of my teachers got fired for because they were a little intense. Nothing involving me. And I was just like always just like it looks like that motherfucker looks like he would, know, stuff like that. But
questionable moral things.
Yeah, like I also like I had my like small group of friends in like high school, but like. One, I was always on medication, so like I didn't like when people were like going through their hormones and everything, their sex drives were starting to develop, and people would be dating here and there and everything. None for me. Like I could have given a shit less, especially if I found you annoying. If I actually liked you, I would like hang out around you and stuff like that. But if you were just like being bitchy just for the sake of being bitchy. I got kicked out of so many classes for like 3 days just because like I would make someone in my class cry. Just like there was this one chick who was into me, but I wasn't into her, and so therefore, I was pulling the world's greatest sin pretty much. And I'm not proud of what I did. Before I say the story, I'm not proud of what I said, but this is another time where I got smacked. I didn't deserve it, but because the bitch wouldn't leave me alone, and I just got mean. But pretty much like she started bringing in like my sexuality and stuff like that. I've already said it on the show, but I'm painfully heterosexual is how I describe myself pretty much. But and so they started bringing in sexuality, and I'm like, dude, I'm just not in the cows. I said that one day, and then she let it go one day, and like she kept going like a week later, like pretty much like giving me shit and everything like that. And I straight up like leaned back, and I was just like, I'm gonna call her Shelby for the sake of the story. Shelby, when's your birthday? And she was like, July 12th or something like that. Why do you ask? I was like, I'm gonna get you a cowbell for your birthday.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I used to say stuff like that just to shut people down. Just like I was the guy pretty much just like, hey, don't mess with the quiet kid because he actually has some snappy remarks that will hurt your feelings.
So I was kind of the quiet kid, but I just kind of existed. Like I was there. Like I never got beat up on, but I was never like the popular kid either. But I could hang out with anyone. Like,
yeah, me too.
I was in the band, and I could hang out with the band people, and then I could hang out with the popular people too. But I didn't talk very much, but like no one like shunned me. I was just kind of there, whatever. I could talk to everyone, but I wasn't really like good friends with everyone. So whatever. Like no one messed with me, but I didn't mess with anyone. I don't know. Just kind of existed.
I remember because like people would like come up with this concept with me. Like, especially because I had a couple of altercations in high school, but like a lot more that would have happened. But like they would come up to me, it's like, yeah, we have a problem. Meet me after school. And I'd be like, no, if we got a problem, let's do it here and now. I'm not missing my bus because you have fucking beef, dude. And that was like a lot of things. Like a lot of people in the school would call me a bitch and all those other terms and everything, just because like I wasn't a fighter. I wasn't a fighter, but I would fight. And twice in high school I had to like actually come in on somebody, which
I had never been in a fight
Really?
Never, not once. There was
even with these little things, right?
There was one time, and well, all my power is in my legs.
Oh,
I did one course of weight training. I couldn't bench press to save my life, but I could deadlift more than the seniors could. Because I played soccer and ran track, so
you were always running, pretty much.
Yeah, so I had strong legs. Not so much with the bench press, but but there was one time I went to Gordon Lee 1 year. Hated it. They didn't have soccer, so and then the band director, I did not like him, so I didn't do band. That's the 1 year I did track, and I hated the school. But made like a whole 3 or 4 friends, little clique. There's one dude, he just mad every day in PE, and he was short too. Some guy, I don't know, just wanted to pick on me and he shoved me in the locker room, but some people broke it up before anything got started. So I guess I was almost in a fight, but I decided not to, I wasn't going to hit him unless he actually, he shoved me, but if he had actually landed one, then I was, I was going to try to fight back, but it never did get that far. And then he just never messed with me again after that. So he was one of those kids that just hated his life. That's what I got out of it. I don't even remember his name. But
dude, there was this...
that was the closest I ever got.
I mean, I played football, so... It was no deal for me to just deal with an asshole who just would come in a bad mood pretty much. And I remember when I was a sophomore, a freshman came in, and he came in and started, and he acted like he was a senior. That's how he would try to act, even though how many people would put him down. And every time he got beat by somebody, he would go on to his next. We always called them almost victims, because he would always turn into a victim afterward, pretty much, especially when teachers and coaches were involved and stuff like that. And one day, I'm literally in the weight room, and I'm just standing, my legs are crossed, I'm not really on balance or anything like that, and I'm just looking at the weight board of what we're doing that day. And this kid comes in and just shoves me. And when he shoves me, I'm not on balance. So, it takes me 3 steps to gain my shit. I see who it is. And he was just he's like, yeah, I almost knocked you off your feet, and little bitch and stuff like that. And I literally came up with him, going to his stance to what? I shoved him into the weight walls. A bunch of weights fell around him. I did get in trouble because those weights could have hurt him, but at the same time I was I didn't even shove you that hard. I was just what do you do? Why are you trying to be a bully when you can't bully people?
Yeah, my balance is way better than yours.
Yeah, and it's dude, I got caught off guard, and I reclaimed myself because literally he went back seven steps and shit, kind of theatrical with it. It was kind of one of those old Dumb and Dumber
basketball
skits.
Players.
Yeah, or soccer, when they're just
I hate that too.
Yeah, dude, I
give soccer a bad name.
Yeah, and it's just dude, if soccer is hard
people
enough.
did that. We'd be playing matches in high school, and another team do that. I'm like, man,
I got red carded in soccer.
Nice.
I elbowed a dude so hard in the nose that he had to be carried off in a stretcher.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I got fouled. I played basketball 8th grade, just 1 year. I sucked at it. I joined the team because I was playing in PE, and I was playing with a group of special kids. I just got picked last, and good kids and everything. And I would have them run the ball down the court and they hand it to me. And man, I made every single shot. And somebody was like, dude, you should try it for the basketball team. I was like, I'm going to do it. I made 2 points the whole season.
Oh, dude.
I sucked at it. I just had a really good day that day.
I played basketball for 2 years recreationally. And the entire 2 years, I made 1 3-point shot.
Well, at least it was a 3-pointer.
Yeah, it was a 3-point, and people were waiting on that for a while, especially my teammates.
Yeah, my 2 points were foul shots. That was all I made. Well, there were other people, I was giving the ball to other people that could make better baskets, so
Yeah.
And then I had the ball, and someone grabbed me around the arm and slung me around, and they got the foul. It was on me. And the coach,
dude, I've never especially
the craziest thing ever.
Especially when people I would have people charge me and I would just stand my ground and they bounce off me. I still don't understand how that's a foul, but that's a foul.
They locked arms around mine, slung me around, and they got me for traveling. I was like, the heck, or something like. And they got to do I'm like, what? How does this even? My coach was so mad that he got kicked off the court for that crap. He was so mad because that kid knew what they were doing, and I was so confused. Like, how is this my fault when he come over here slinging me? Like, what even? The stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Am I supposed to just drop the ball? Like, how do you avoid that? You know?
Do I have to do the worm to get out of the foul? Like, what is this witchcraft?
The weirdest thing ever. Like, that was the last time I played basketball.
Oh, dude, I play basketball. I used to play all the time. Pretty much before I moved to Nashville, like, I used to play all the time. And then I tried playing one time in Nashville when, like, I hadn't done anything active. And, bro, I got smoked. I got made look like a toddler. And I was just like, I'm not playing this anymore for a while.
I felt that way when I played indoor. So I played soccer with there's a friend of mine that was on the team with me that I went to school with. He's in my grade. And I played all through middle school and high school. Where after that, I didn't play for a while. He started playing indoor rec, and he was like, "Hey, come and be on the team this season." I was like, "Sure, whatever." And man, the other teams wiped the floor. I was so bad. It's like, man, I can't do this anymore. They were so good. Well, they were also like still in high school.
Yeah,
most of these teams were like younger than we were too, and all I remember is sucking horribly at the game and getting my knees all scraped up. We played actually inside Camp Jordan, and they had the artificial grass at the time. Man, my knees got
I've seen their indoor soccer.
Yeah, they still do it. Yeah, I don't know if they did this year. Probably not.
Because Brian used to be on a team, and like I used to go watch Brian. That way we could like hang out afterwards and stuff like that.
And you got to be precise too. The goals are so freaking small. It's hard to get a goal.
On 4 occasions, the one time I went to go watch him play, 4 times I almost got smacked in the face by the ball. I was not even on the field.
Oh. Yeah, that grass is...
I was in the stands, and I was just like, whoa. It's like, how about we get those glass things a little higher?
Yeah.
Dude, have you ever been in a soccer game and witnessed someone like in the stands get a header?
I've seen someone get nailed before in the side of the head, but yeah, I've been nailed before on the field. We were playing at in Lafayette, down in Lafayette, and I think it was the championship or one of them or tournament or something, and man, I don't remember where it was. I can't remember if I was defense that day or forward, but as soon as the ball got passed quickly, and as soon as I turned to where it got passed, where it was going to, the guy on the other team kicked it, and right as I turned, it was already at my face. I swear it knocked me out for like a second or two. It was one of those like you see in the movies. Like I lost feeling and like I couldn't control my body. It was one of those dramatic things where your knees hit the ground and then you go forward and hit the ground. Yeah. That's literally what I did. Like it hit me so hard that I had no feeling anywhere and I lost control of my whole body for a few seconds.
So it hit you on your buttons.
And then yeah, like right smack in the middle of the face, like perfectly. And like there's all like, knees first and then boom. And for at least maybe a second and a half, I think I blacked out, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that hurt. Everything was stinging. My face was red. I look up. No one's there. Not even the goalie. It's like no one saw it. It bounced off of me, and they just went and with it. My team was taking it down to score. The ref was running away. I'm like, how did no one see this? I'm like laying on the ground like, what happened? And I look in the stands at my mom that was there, and later on I asked her, I was like, did you see that? She was like, what? She didn't even see me get hit in the face. Like, did no one see me? That like,
you just had like a tatted like.
It made the loudest. It had to have made the loudest smack sound. I'm like, how did no one see me get hit by this ball? Like, it hurt.
Oh, dude. It could be worse. People would have actually noticed you, and like what happened to me one time was I
should have gotten down there and be like, oh, then they might have noticed me. Yeah, I didn't do that crap. No, I'm not going to pretend to get hurt.
Yeah, me either. But I played soccer for like a year, and then I was like always like hurt in the off season to where I couldn't play anymore. Football, pretty much. But the first day I went up for a header one time in practice. Like we were playing pretty much like a little skirmish one day at practice, and like I went up for my first header because like I was just going to knock it back to the end of the field, and like it was coming in super fast.
Yeah,
and I went in because like it looked really high when I went to jump, and then as soon as I jumped, I was just like that's not going to hit my head. And I'm like watching it curve, and it straight up like hits me right in the groin regions. Oh my god! Like it's going so fast.
That's way off.
It's going so fast that like I literally just I came down on my face. So not only did I get hit in the nuts, but it's like I just scorpioned myself pretty much.
So you're hurting up here and down there.
And so I'm just like crawl my way over to like the pavilion, and I just like sit there for the rest of practice in shame.
Oh man!
Like the coach came over and he's like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just
You're like, "I'm fine, I'm good." No, the one year I did track, a friend of mine was a pole vaulter.
Oh fuck, pole vaulting, dude. That shit always gives me so much anxiety.
Yeah, so he was a pole vaulter, and he was pretty decent at it. But anyway, he was doing pole vaults, and he, there's different sizes and lengths for certain people that weigh differently or whatever, or however high you want to go, like what they're made out of, which I think might have been fiberglass at the time. I don't know if they're still made out of fiberglass. I might be wrong. They might not have been fiberglass. But there was one that I think he switched them out, and I may have picked it up to move it or something, and I threw it down, and it like... I'm not sure how this happened, but somehow it bounced back towards me, ricocheted off the ground, and popped me right between the legs.
Oh my god! Dude.
And it only hit the left side. Not to be too graphic, man.
Whenever you get the
I was sitting down for like at least half an hour.
Dude, it's always so much worse when you just get one of them.
Oh man, it did not feel good though, because it like ricocheted and bounced and just popped it
yeah,
it hurt.
Also, like you were in and around the locker room. Have you ever had those dickheads that did the flick motion at you?
No.
Oh,
no,
dude,
no.
that shit is worse than getting punched, man. Like you literally feel nauseous after someone gets you.
Thankfully,
with that.
none of that. But the same year, Gordon Lee, I did not like my year at Gordon Lee. The same year, we were playing softball during PE, and of course, softballs are bigger. Hit it. It was coming right at me, and I put the glove. Like, it was right in the sun. Right in the sun. So I put the glove right in the sunlight since I couldn't see it. It barely missed it. Bounced off my head. And, like, the dude way behind me almost caught it. That's how much it bounced. Man, it hurt so bad. The teacher come over there and was like, "You okay?" And I was like, I don't know. It didn't quite break the skin. I won't say it almost did. But, man, I had a knot for several days. That did not feel good, but it was crazy too because my friends were like, "Man, did you see how high that bounced off your head?" It like launched back up in the air like 20, 30 more feet. And I was like, probably why I got such a bad memory. All these things hit me in the head.
Yeah, my other soccer story was your boy was trying to be an asshole, like a funny asshole to his friend one day because his friend was talking to a super cute chick on the female soccer team and everything like that. Like, hitting her up, trying to play his moves out and shit.
Of course.
And my plan is like, I'm going to kick the soccer ball and it's going to go through the air and it's going to hit my boy in the back of the head while he's talking. You hit her, didn't you? Dude, he moved right when I kicked it. And like everyone just said they just saw the look of horror because like I was just like, "Oh no." I was like, no, please. And like literally like she's like laughing and she looks back just to catch the soccer ball on the tip of her nose, and I'm just like, "Oh my god." And I just like walked away. I didn't go to practice for 3 days after. I bet you were like, "Oh, who did this?" No, like I wasn't even that smooth. I was just like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here," is what I'm doing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'd feel pretty horrible.
I had to let her like kick a soccer ball in my face just so that I would feel better.
I have misjudged a few just during a game or something. Man, some of the guys, especially on the other team, they'd kick a ball just right where they'd swirl it. Man, you wouldn't believe how much a soccer ball can curve like a baseball depending on how you hit it, if you hit it just right.
Oh yeah, especially.
And man, I've misjudged, and like, a lot of times you try to catch it with your chest or whatever. And I can tell you how many times I've come up and it just missed me completely. I'm like, "Oh, well, that didn't work." Like that sucker just curves. I'm like,
just kidding, crazy. Guys.
Yeah, or it's hit me in the. It did that one time, curved downward and smacked me in the hand, and like it like popped a vein. Like if you smack me like right on a vein, it like hurts. I'm like, "Oh gosh!" All of a sudden, the ref blows a whistle for handling the ball. I'm like, "What the heck?" Like that wasn't on purpose, but that's what you got to do. And I was like, "Man,
oh god!"
Then they get to do a kick. I'm like, "What the heck? I didn't even mean to do that." Like I totally misjudged the trajectory of the ball. It was coming in so hot, so fast.
Oh, dude.
Fun times.
I really like playing soccer. I can't watch soccer, though.
I liked it when I wasn't the midfielder, and all I did was run the entire game.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Like, I sort of like watching football. Like, I like watching my teams. I'm not one of those people who can just watch a football game or watch a football game, you know?
Yeah.
But I really enjoy, like, MMA, even though the worst MMA fighter could fucking pretzel me in 2 seconds, dude.
Yeah, I hated watching football, too, because our team sucked. So it's really difficult watching us lose every game, you know? But before I got to Ridgeland, like my brother, he played football, basketball, and track, and did all three of those year round. And all the coaches would let him, you know, he's over 6 foot tall and got put in the paper, and he was good at it at one point anyway. And back when he was in school, like all the sports there did really great for Ridgeland anyway. And then like when I was there, everyone sucked. Like football didn't do well and everything, and then after I left they started getting good. I was like, man, I guess I'm just bad luck.
Ridgeland was like, y'all were some sons of bitches when I was in school. It was
probably after I left, because all I kept thinking was, well, I was probably bad luck for the school, so maybe they got better after
like, dude, football, like playing, like, I want to say, like, if I'm remembering correctly, like, the Ridgeland games were always super intense and super close, and so was LFO, which absolutely made no sense because they were always worse than us, but it was just that rivalry behind it because LFO was our rival.
Where'd you go?
I went to Ringgold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, LFO was always our rival school, mostly. Yeah, I mean, Ringgold may have been sometimes, but...
Pretty much like the entire, like the entire aspect you got when you played sports in like that area of like Ridgeland, Ringgold, Gordon Lee, and LFO was everybody's mentality was like fuck LFO pretty much.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Just like fuck those rich dudes. And then like Heritage came by and like kind of took some of the heat off of LFO.
See, there was no Heritage when I was in school.
Oh no, like Heritage opened up my sophomore year of high school. Yeah, so we went to school with each other our freshman year, and then like they split us up when they built Heritage. Yeah, and then I actually had to go to Heritage for my final...
For like rezone?
No, for my final month of school because of the tornado and stuff. And like I
bet that sucked.
I need to explain this, but I was kind of relieved when the tornado hit Ringgold because I had such a case of senioritis that the rest of my school experience was going to be me staying after school for like 2 hours every day to catch up so that I'd be able to graduate. And when the tornado hit, it was like, everybody graduates, we're just coming back to school to hang out and be together and stuff. And I was just like, I feel so bad for thinking this, but yeah, it's kind of a relief.
Might have saved you.
Yeah. We were out of school for 2 months. I think it was great.
Nice.
Well, it wasn't great, but everybody knows.
Yeah.
You might have went to school with me. It's like, no, like, how dare you? It's like, come on, you all were smoking weed and drinking beer just like I was those last 2 months.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we even had people that showed up drunk on the last couple of days just because, like, what are they going to do?
I remember some of the senior pranks that my class did. I think my senior year, they painted the Panther pink. It was on top of the building. So
that's
Pink
awesome.
Panther, yeah. And first day of classes, senior day, they released chickens in the lobby. So that was funny. But yeah, the ones that painted the Panther, they totally got caught and they didn't get suspended, but they got some ISS. Oh man.
Oh dude.
I remember hearing stories about them getting caught drinking and stuff, and like even some of the ones that made good grades got caught too, and they had to.
I don't know what the fuck was this kid's problem. I still don't know who did it, but I remember one time there was a kid, like a dude, who went into the woman's bathroom and totally started smoking a joint. like he wasn't going to get caught.
You must have already been high.
I was literally like in the classroom right next to it, and like I was in a class like full of like all the good kids that didn't really do that shit, and all of a sudden I just start.
I bet everyone could smell that.
No, like they were like, "What is that smell?" And when it finally reached me, like my teacher was just like Mrs. Wilson. But she looked at me and she was like, I know what that smells like. And like she literally looked at me and it's like, and it looks like Justin knows what that smells like.
Oh my!
And
goodness.
I'm just like, yeah. And everybody's like, well, what is it? Why does it smell so weird? I'm like, that's weed. Someone is smoking weed near us right now.
Oh man!
And then people started calling me a rat, and then I was just like, they're gonna know.
Like, now the teacher knew first.
Like, get out of my face with that. I was like, the principal was already there by the time where it's weed came out of my mouth.
And my cousin Zeke, he actually got kicked out of school his senior year. He was in shop class, and like he never really had that many problems or whatever, because like he was I don't know if he was good, but I mean, like, he wasn't really a troublemaker that much, but he was in metals class, and the teacher in there let them make knives or whatever. Well, you just couldn't carry them outside of the class. Well, he put one in his back pocket and walked to lunch one day, and some teacher on the hallway saw it and turned him in, and he got kicked out of school for it. He just completely forgot it was in there. Like, he knew the security officer and everything too, and like it was real cool with him. But the security officer was like, if I had seen it, I'd probably told you to go back. But since this teacher saw it, there's nothing I can do. And
yeah,
I was really stupid for them to kick him out completely. But I always hated that.
Did this happen at Ringgold?
He went to Ridgeland too.
Yeah. Because that happened to somebody in our shot class too.
I always hated that for him.
In our shot class.
Yeah.
But I just remember like everyone getting in trouble because they would get someone pregnant and stuff like that. Like teenage pregnancy was a huge thing at like Ringgold, even like when I was there.
Wow.
And it's just like I never had trouble with it because Forever Alone, you know. But,
I don't remember hearing about anybody in my class like doing that at Ridgeland, but then again, I probably didn't pay enough attention.
It was so bad that at one point, it was before I started, we actually had a daycare at our high school.
Oh my goodness.
For students' children. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, crazy.
That's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, it is. Especially like...
I mean, not to send my kids to Ringgold.
They don't.
Oh, man.
Like, Ringgold's become really... Like, the year after I graduated, we had... my high school had a problem called the Rat Pack, which was a group of kids that would smoke crystal meth in the bathrooms.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And it's just like, I'm sorry, what the fuck did you say? I'm like, we had our stoners and everything like that, but no one that I knew of when I was in high school was just straight up on meth. Yeah, that was a really weird moment. Just like, wow, these guys are making me feel like a P word. I'm over here just smoking a J and being really fun off that.
It's almost like it's gotten crazier since I was in school. Then again, maybe I was just oblivious to everything that was going on.
Oh yeah, dude. There's parts of me that thinks that just like I was just really oblivious, and people tell me it's just like, yeah, you're just really oblivious. Especially when I was medicated, because like, dude, like I thought that I could be. Like, I thought I had no attraction, no game, or anything like that. I just always try to be nice and funny around people. That's what I do today.
Yeah.
I'm not the same as when I was in high school, but that part of me is pretty much the same. But, yeah. But I would run into so many people after high school, like so many girls, like, yeah, I had such a crush on you. And I'm like, then...
I had that happen a few times. Yeah, because I could not take a hint, apparently.
Oh, dude, I was
always just a nice guy, too, and I would never realize when a girl liked me. I was like, oh, I was really oblivious, but, you know,
yeah.
I always thought I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, maybe I'm just unattractive or something.
Yeah.
Which, apparently later on, I found out a few girls liked me, and I was like, oh, I had no idea. I couldn't take a hint.
Yeah, I couldn't take
I was very naive.
Oh, dude, I remember, I won't say, like, exactly what happened, but pretty much, like, me and this, like, we all met, like, at a swimming hole. It was, like, a thing where you can, like, jump off of this bridge into some water and stuff like that. And this chick was, like, in, like, a really nice two-piece, and, like, me and her were talking about it after we graduated, and she was just like, yeah, you remember how, like, I would pull you really close under the water, and you'd be like, stop it, and we giggle and everything, and then nothing happened after that. And she was just like, what the fuck, man? She was just like, that messed with my self-esteem, and I was just like, God, I didn't get it. I didn't get your signal.
Oh man!
I thought we were just being playful and being nice.
Yeah, that was and totally being funny. Me too.
Yeah, she was just like, yeah, like her to just be like, yo, what the fuck? Why did you ever like make any moves after that? Just like, I hate my past self. I hate him so much. But yeah. So before we get off here, anybody who's kind of like in your place or like kind of like trying to get in your place, what would be some advice that you would have to them?
You talking about just like strictly related to
cosplaying and acting? Yeah.
I mean, cosplaying is, I'd say it's fairly easy to get into now because like it's grown a lot over the past few years.
Yeah.
I mean, COVID has kind of screwed things up for this year, but the cosplay community alone has grown exponentially just since I've been in it, just the past 5 years. You know, almost everyone knows, you know, what it is now, whereas maybe 5-10 years ago, they didn't even know what cosplay was or what it meant.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got social media now that, you know, you see everything online. People know about a lot more stuff now. You know, you hear about a lot more stuff more these days, even though it was around back then. To get into cosplay, I mean, you can literally just Google costume conventions and find one near you and put anything on, and you can be anything you want. You know, you can put on a suit and say you're James Bond, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Go to Goodwill and find a blazer and some pants, and there you go. You can do anything starting out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I did for my Mr. Bean. It was super simple to make. I bought the blazer and the pants that look like his from freaking Goodwill, put on some old shoes and a tie, and made the mask out of particle board and print something out and stuck it on there, and there you go, Mr. Bean. It was hilarious, and people loved it. You know, it was very easy and didn't cost much to make. You know, and then and YouTube is a huge resource. You can find out how to work with EVA foam and any type of material to make costumes now. It just takes practice to get good at it. So I'd say it's really easy to get into costuming. As far as acting goes, I started off by doing extra work. That's what I would recommend as an actor. And I can't really give that much advice. I'm not nowhere near being big at all or whatever. But from the experience I've gained, you can go on Facebook and join Facebook groups where you can find extra work. People post stuff all the time. Production assistants will post stuff. And you don't have to be in a union, or you don't have to be SAG eligible. It's just like a job, and most of the time it's like it pays around minimum wage. You literally apply, send in a couple photos of yourself, and they'll be like, okay, show up at this time, and then you just gain experience. You get on set, you understand how it works. Once you do a few little background things, then you go and do short films. We can get footage of yourself. If you can't find work for short films, get your phone now, because these suckers are filming just as great as cameras did 5 years ago. You know, put it in 1080 HD and go to town. You know, make sure your lighting and sound's good. Just the mic quality on these is better than big boom mics now, which is nuts. Film your own thing. Write a script, film some action shots, get some good footage, make a reel, and then submit it to agencies. Find an agent, you know, and that's what I just did. I've got my first agent, and it's just baby steps. It's just the steps you got to follow. You want to get footage for a reel. You want to go get some headshots done. Find a photographer that's in the business of doing actor headshots so that you can get the really good ones, because sometimes you get cast based solely on your headshots. Headshots get you work, from what I've learned. So that and reels and footage, you know, it's just baby steps, learning how to do it. Get an agent, start getting more and more stuff. Hope to land that big role that's going to get you noticed, you know. And it's also about networking. which is also easier now because of social media. You can network with local directors, and then they might know a PA that works on a TV show, and then they might know someone else, bigger agents or managers or producers or whatever. You get to know people that work on bigger and bigger projects, and it's good to make those connections and everything too. Because, like I said, there was one thing, a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook, he messaged me directly and was like, hey, would you like to do this? Or I got your name from somewhere. Would you like to do this role? I'm like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
You get your name out there, you get your face out there, and they're just baby steps pretty much.
All right, man. Yeah. Well, I know that we've been going at this for a little over 2 hours now.
Hasn't felt like it, though.
Probably a little bit, yeah. And that's good. You're a really cool dude. It's like I said at the beginning, this is like the first time you got to have a one-on-one. Yeah. And I really want to thank you for doing this, because
thanks for having me.
I'm trying to get guests and stuff like that, get it going. But yeah, it was a really great talk. I hope we get to have one in the future, just like this on here. Yeah,
be great.
Thanks, Christopher.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You've been listening to Metrotham Uncensored with host Justin Hodgkins. Subscribe to our podcast and tune in weekly on Apple or Spotify. Live long and prosper.